Ahlan wa sahlan mtazamaji, natumai ubuheri wa afya, ikiwa ni tarehe 15 mwezi wa Januari. Shukrani sana kwa kuchagua kuwa nasi. Kwanza kabisa tupate vipasho. Ann Kananu ahidi kushirikiana na NMS baada ya kuapishwa kuwa naibu gavana Nairobi, huku maswali yakiibuka kuhusu kasi ya kuidhinishwa kwake.
This time, the year 2021, is not the time to increase any school fees.
Magoha aonya walimu wakuu wanaowataka wazazi kulipa karo zaidi, huku wakiagiza waliowasilisha madawati shuleni kulipwa haraka.
Eti ya kwamba tusipofanya yale mnataka nyinyi, eti mutatufanyia hii, ati mutatufunga, ati mutatupeleka kotini, ati mutalete DCI.
Naibu Rais asema pingamizi za wapinzani wake zinamtia nguvu zaidi, huku akiwazomea akidai wanashurutisha wafuasi wake kwa kuwatisha.
Bwana harusi pindi anapotaka kuoa, kuna mapambo aina nyingi sana ambao yanampendeza.
Na katika makala ya kila Ijumaa ya Ulimbwende tunaangazia matumizi ya aina tofauti za kanzu.
Mubashara kutoka jumba la Nation. Hii ni NTV Weekendi na Nuru Abdulaziz.
Na mtazamaji, karibu sana. Mwenzangu wa ishara ni Flora Atieno, andamana nasi hadi tamati. Sasa ni rasmi kuwa Ann Kananu Mwenda ndiye naibu gavana wa Nairobi baada ya kuapishwa leo, muda mchache baada ya kuidhinishwa na bunge la kaunti ya Nairobi. Sasa anatarajiwa kuchukua wadhifa wa gavana wa Nairobi muda wa spika wa Nairobi Benson Mutura kushikilia wadhifa huo kama kaimu utakapokamilika baada ya siku 60. Kananu ameahidi kushirikiana na Nairobi Metropolitan kuleta maendeleo Nairobi, huku kasi ya kuapishwa kwake ikiibuka. Mtazamaji, taarifa hiyo Setholala atatuletea baadaye tu. Na tukisonga mbele, ni afueni kwa wagonjwa na wakazi katika kaunti ya Mombasa baada ya madaktari katika kaunti hiyo kufutilia mbali mgomo wao baada ya serikali ya kaunti kuwajibikia matakwa yao. Haya yanajiri baada ya mashauriano kati ya chama cha madaktari nchini KMPDU na maafisa wa kaunti. Kevin Mutai na maelezo zaidi.
Wenyeji hapa Mombasa wamekuwa wakihangaika kwa muda mrefu kwa kukosa huduma za matibabu katika hospitali za umma, lakini sasa wamepata afueni baada ya serikali gatuzi ya Mombasa pamoja na chama cha madaktari humu nchini KMPDU kuafikiana na kumaliza utata uliopo.
We have signed a return to work formula that addresses issues that we have been discussing.
The doctors have been reinstated, the issue of the statutory reductions has also been sorted out, and the promotions have also been effected.
Ndilo tangazo ambalo wagonjwa waliokuwa wakihangaika katika hospitali za umma Mombasa wamekuwa wakilisubiri kwa hamu na ghamu, huku wakitumai kuwa dhiki waliokuwa wakipitia kwa kukosa huduma za matibabu sasa imezikwa katika kaburi la sahau.
It ends here. We will require you to report back to work immediately, where immediately means now, and where now means right now. And to our patients that we probably walked out on you, we can never offer enough apologies.
Muda mchache baada ya tangazo hilo, shughuli katika hospitali za umma Mombasa zilirejelewa. Viongozi hawa aidha wanailaumu serikali kuu kwa mvutano uliokuwepo.
Any other person who might have thought that they will use our struggle for any other inclination or political linings, you had probably mistaken the room and you need to look for a new one. Ours was tunnel visioned, what we just wanted. Not political, not personal.
We do expect that National Treasury will ensure that counties' disbursements are made in good time, so that counties will be able to meet some of these expenditures.
Licha ya madaktari kurejea kazini, kizungumkuti kingalipo kwa kuwa wauguzi na wahudumu wengine wa afya wako mgomoni. Kevin Mutai, NTV, Mombasa.
Na mtazamaji, na sasa Setholala anaangazia taarifa kuhusiana na kuapishwa kwa Ann Mwenda kama naibu gavana wa kaunti ya Nairobi.
Safari ya Ann Kananu Mwenda kuwa naibu gavana wa Nairobi ilishika kasi leo asubuhi pale Mahakama Kuu ilipotupilia mbali kesi zote za kupinga hoja ya kusailiwa kwake na bunge la kaunti ya Nairobi.
I was nominated through merit.
Kwa muda usiozidi saa moja, Kananu alihojiwa na kamati ya bunge la Nairobi linalosimamia mahojiano na ajira na kuidhinisha uteuzi wake.
Communication from the chair.
Bunge la kaunti lilipitisha ripoti hiyo dakika chache baadaye. Kauli hiyo ilikuwa idhibati tosha kwa uteuzi wa Kananu, na punde baada ya kutolewa, safari ya kumwapisha ilianza kutoka katika bunge la kaunti hadi jumba la kimataifa la mikutano KICC, ambapo maandalizi yalikuwa yamefanyika, huku shughuli zikifanyika kwa haraka kabla ya saa 8 mchana ili kuzingatia sheria.
I, Ann Kananu Mwenda, do swear.
Kananu, ambaye awali alikuwa afisa mkuu kwenye kitengo cha kukabiliana na dharura katika kaunti ya Nairobi, ameingia katika madaftari ya kihistoria kama mwanamke wa kwanza kushikilia wadhifa wa naibu gavana Nairobi, huku wachanganuzi wa sera na uongozi wakisema nia kuu ni kuhakikisha anashikilia wadhifa wa gavana baada ya muda wa spika Benson Mutura kushikilia wadhifa huo kama kaimu kukamilika baada ya siku 60. Kananu wameahidi wakazi wa Nairobi huduma bora. Hisia mbalimbali zinaendelea kutolewa, huku kasi ya alivyoapishwa Kananu ikiibua maswali.
It means then, by any logical interpretation of law and process, that the vetting committee and the Nairobi County Assembly have merely been used as rubber stamps, curious enablers of an illegitimate process that is being made legitimate by way of that swearing in.
If you give people time in Nairobi, by this evening, there would have been challenges that would have meant that it's a whole weekend of machinations, and by Monday, everything could have been undone. So the only way to stop everything is there's this cute little animal in law we call status quo remains. So by Monday, by the time we're going to court, status quo will be Ann Kananu is Deputy Governor Nairobi, and that is done and dusted.
Kama kiwango cha mwanamke siku hizi yako huru, so atadeliver kila kitu kama vile mwanaume anaweza fanya.
Wengine wamekuwa wanaume wote, but let this time tupatie a lady, nafikiria atafanya vizuri.
Not bad for a lady, but I'm hoping we see some changes. I'm hoping for security. Personally, I feel like the city is kind of insecure. So I'm hoping for better security, a clean city, and we're wishing her all the best.
Kazi haiangalii mke ama mwanaume. As long as ni mtu akona rekodi mzuri ya kazi, we don't mind. Cha muhimu chenye tunataka Nairobi ni mtu mwenye akona bidii, mwenye atajua maslahi ya watu wa chini, ama yeyote mwenye anajua maslahi ya mwananchi wa kawaida.
Uteuzi wa Kananu kuwa naibu gavana ulikosa kuidhinishwa awali baada ya kesi kadhaa kuwasilishwa mahakamani ili kuupinga. Ann Mwenda sasa ni naibu gavana wa pili katika kaunti ya Nairobi kufuatia kujiuzulu kwake aliyekuwa naibu gavana Polycarp Igathe tarehe 12 mwezi Januari mwaka ukiwa wa 2018. Seth Olale, NTV, katika ukumbi wa KICC, kaunti ya Nairobi.
Kwingineko, serikali imetoa onyo kwa wakuu wa shule wanaoongeza karo zinazotozwa mashuleni. Wakati huo huo, jamii za wafugaji Laikipia zimebuni mbinu za kipekee kuhakikisha watoto wote wanarejea shuleni. Hayo yanajiri huku maafisa wakuu serikalini wakiendelea na ziara katika maeneo mbalimbali nchini kukagua hali katika shule tofauti. Junet Terono na taarifa zaidi.
Akizungumza na wanahabari hii leo kutoka kaunti ya Embu alipozuru shule ya msingi ya Embu, Waziri wa Elimu Profesa George Magoha amewasihi walimu wakuu wa shule kuepukana na mienendo ya kuongeza karo, kwani inawaadhiri wazazi ambao bado wamekabiliwa na makali ya corona.
There are also a small number of teachers who are sending children away from school that they should not send away from school. Can we ensure that they really make sure that the person they are sending away from school can afford to pay school fees?
Kwingineko katika kaunti ya Laikipia, mashirika mbalimbali yameungana kuweka mikakati ya kuhakikisha wanafunzi wote kutoka jamii za wafugaji eneo hilo wanarejea shuleni. Kundi hilo linafanya kazi na machifu na viongozi wengine wa utawala wa mkoa kuhakikisha wanafunzi wote Laikipia, Baringo na Samburu wanarejea shuleni. Katibu katika Wizara ya Elimu, Daktari Belio Kipsang, ametoa onyo kali kwa wanaume wanaotia mimba wanafunzi akisema watakaopatikana na hatia watashtakiwa kwa mujibu wa sheria za kulinda watoto.
They have not attained the age of consent. We shall go for them. For sure we shall not just leave them to go scot-free, and they have messed up our girls.
Wakati huo huo, Gavana Ali Roba wa kaunti ya Mandera ametoa wito kwa serikali kuhakikisha usalama umeimarishwa katika kaunti hiyo ili wanafunzi wote warejee shuleni. Anasema kuwa zaidi ya mashule 100 zingali zimefungwa kwa kukosa walimu, huku akidai hofu za mashambulio ya Al-Shabaab imechangia idadi ndogo ya wanafunzi waliorudi shuleni.
Out of 295 schools, primary schools, 129 are literally not open.
Katibu mkuu wa masuala ya kilimo Profesa Hamadi Boga aliyekuwa akikagua hali shuleni amesema licha ya changamoto za kutimiza kanuni za kudhibiti korona shuleni, zaidi ya 96% ya wanafunzi katika kaunti hiyo wamerejea shuleni. Kuhusu wakandarasi waliowasilishwa madawati shuleni, Magoha ameagiza walipwe kwa haraka, huku akisema kuna fedha za ziada zimetengwa kuhakikisha wanafunzi katika maeneo kame wanapata chakula wakiwa shuleni. Judith Cherono, NTV.
Tukielekea kaunti ya Nakuru, familia ya mwanafunzi aliyefariki baada ya kupoteza fahamu akiwa shuleni katika shule ya City Mission kaunti ya Nakuru inataka uchunguzi zaidi kufanyika kubaini kilichosababisha kifo cha mtoto wao. Kwa mujibu wa ripoti ya upasuaji wa maiti, mtoto huyo alifariki kwa kuvuja damu kichwani. Bridget Ngana na maelezo zaidi.
Mwanafunzi huyo wa kidato cha kwanza kwa jina Abdullahi Mohamed amezikwa leo katika maziara ya Waislamu eneo la Bondeni, kaunti ya Nakuru. Kinachoitia msiba maradufu familia yake ni kuwa mwana wao alipoteza maisha katika namna ya kutatanisha, kwani alikuwa mzima alipopelekwa shuleni Jumatatu wiki hii kabla ya familia yake kupokea simu kutoka shuleni kuwa amezirai.
Walikuja nyumbani wanafunzi wawili wakaniambia mwalimu anasema kijana ako mgonjwa, kuja haraka. Nikaamua kuchukua anti yangu tukaenda naye kwa shule. Vile tulifika shule hivi mwalimu na huyo headboy tulienda naye paka kwa dom. Vile tulifika kwa dom tulipata kijana kama hapumui, haongei, hakukuwa na fahamu yoyote kabisa hata kidogo. Nikauliza mwalimu vipi ilikuwa jana? Akasema yeye jana hakukuwa. Headboy ndio alikuwa. Unaweza uliza headboy vile ilitendeka, ili happen jana. Headboy alisema huyu kijana alisema anaumwa na kichwa na alianza kutapika. Na baada ya hapo, baada ya saa 10 alianza kupoteza fahamu.
Familia ya Mohamed ilimfikisha hospitalini na licha ya juhudi za madaktari kuokoa maisha yake, alipoteza maisha jana alasiri. NTV ilipata nakala ya ripoti ya mpasuaji wa maiti inayosema mwenda zake alifariki kutokana na kuvuja damu kichwani kwa ndani kutokana na kugongwa na kifaa butu.
The second home of the child is the school. From what we have seen, there was total negligence on the part of the management, on the part of the principal, or the administrators.
We were preventing corona for 9 months. He was safe, healthy, only to die 12 hours after going to school to get injured, and they're not explaining. So when that school to come clean, we went there. It's in a deplorable state. We have even reported to the Minister of Education in Nakuru. We just want justice.
Hatukufanikiwa kuzungumza na maafisa wa elimu katika kaunti ya Nakuru, japo tuliarifiwa uchunguzi kuhusu swala hili unaendelea. Huku shule ya City Mission ikikosa kutoa taarifa yoyote kwa wanahabari kuhusu tukio hilo, japo masomo yangali yanaendelea shuleni humo. Familia ya Mohamed ilifanya maandamano hadi shuleni humo kutaka majibu kuhusu kifo cha mpendwa wao, huku wakiapa kuendelea kufuatilia hadi haki ipatikane. Bridget Ngana, NTV, Nakuru.
Na taarifa hiyo inatupeleka mapumzikoni. Kuna mengi tu ambao tumekuandalia, usiende mbali.
I compromise it all. Either my skin is sensitive or my back's against the wall.
You can have it all. What? Always brings it all.
Okay.
Get it all with new Always 2-in-1. Feather-like softness overall, even on the wings, girl. And rapid dry channels.
Let me see you make a move, be it all, do it all, have it all.
Always, we are the generation of change.
Dawa ni ya Medeviroboto funza na pia kuguni tunauza hapa.
Hello?
Hello, sir.
Huyu si Alusa?
Sir.
Hebu ngoja kidogo. Hebu simamisha hapo mbele. Unasema?
I am John from Safaricom. Now, we've noted your line is registered ×2. Sasa, ili tuhakikishe line ni yako, nipe ID number, date of birth na PIN yako.
Okay. So, ID ni 20445. Safaricom? Si waitishi mtu PIN.
Nitafunga ile line yako usiponipa maelezo.
We, John, usinicheze by the way. Tulijichanua kitambo.
Sasa, mimi ni Zuri kutoka Safaricom na niko hapa kukuchanua. Kaa macho. Safaricom upiga kutoka 0722 000 pekee. Ukipigiwa na namba nyingine, usipeane maelezo yako ya kibinafsi. Tuma namba ya mkora kwa 333 ili Safaricom ichukue hatua. Jichanue and take control.
To help fight the spread of coronavirus, learn Lifebuoy's hand washing habits. Wash hands with soap or use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Together, let's help fight the spread of coronavirus in Kenya.
Kevin Onyona, who owns the popular Swahili Village restaurant in the US, is back on Daring Abroad after visiting his home village.
The village is fresh, man.
How is he faring amid COVID-19?
We have learned how to adapt.
His views on the transition in the US.
Trump has not been a good president for America.
On Kenya to the World, leather exports by Rift Africa Leather. And on My Magical Kenya,
Kisumu Impala Sanctuary acts as a homage to wildlife.
This Saturday, 7:30 p.m. only on NTV.
Select a plot of value-added land within Garden of Joy gated community off Koma Kennel Road, Machakos. Now kuamue January na 21K with Optiven. Call us now on 0790 300 300.
Shukran sana kwa kuendelea kuwa nasi. Vazi la kanzu ni maarufu sana miongoni mwa wakazi wa pwani, haswa wa dini ya Kiislamu ambao hulitumia hata katika masuala ya kidini. Fatma Bugu anatupambia makala ya Ulimbwende wiki hii kwa kuangazia namna vazi la kanzu linaweza kutumika kumpamba bwana harusi.
Tunapamba mabwana harusi pindi anapotaka kuoa. Kuna mapambo aina nyingi sana ambao yanampendeza bwana. Kuna ya Kisuudi, ya Kiimarati, ya Kioman, lakini sana sisi huko kwa sababu ya kwetu mji wa Mombasa na culture yake vile iko sana, tunavalisha Kioman. Kitu ambacho anahitajika ni kanzu nyeupe, ndio huwa inampendeza zaidi ya Kioman. Ama saa nyingine anavaa kanzu ambayo ina rangi na vile vitambara ambavyo vinakwenda ambavyo atakavalishwa navyo huwa vinakwenda navyo, ambapo anavalishwa kofia ya Kioman ambapo ndio inakaa uzuri na kanzu.
Mtu akinunua kanzu huwa anachagua kanzu mwanzo, kisha tunamachishia na hizi kofia.
Kilemba chake cha juu kinaitwa masara na ile kilemba cha kiuno huwa ni shawl, ambapo pia anavalishwa na khanjar ambapo ni kisu cha kile kiuno na panga lake, alafu pia anavalishwa na bishti. Sasa pale unaangalia rangi ya bwana harusi, rangi yake mwenyewe, ambapo kile kitambara ambacho kitaweza kumfungua na lile bishti pia ambapo litampendeza katika ile mavazi. Katika ile khanjar ni katika yote ni mapambo, na ile kisu ni katika yani katika vitu vya ulinzi, na pia wani fahari kwa mwanamume kama kuonekana jabari, yani pindi unapokuwa mtu mwanamume sawa.
Tuwahimiza watu wavae fulana ya mkono, kwa sababu fulana ya mkono ukivaa hata ukisweat ina absorb ile jasho. Mtu anavaa t-shirt ya mkono mostly. Kuna wengine wana prefer vest, lakini ni mzuri uvae t-shirt ya mkono. Viatu mostly ni open na kila mtu ako na style yake, unajua. So unavaa kikoi ya white na fulana, or unaweza vaa trouser pia, lakini ambayo isifikie chini sana, kidogo inakuwa jicho juu ya jicho.
Vitu vya ziada unafanyia, unapaka mafuta mazuri yako ambapo yananukia pia harufu ya udi mingine, unampaka utur zile, kuna wanja ambao unampaka ambapo macho yake yanaonekana. Pia ni katika mambo mengine pia ni kama inaepusha na hasad pia katika bwana harusi. Kuna makoja ambayo yanamvalisha ambayo ya masmini na mawardi ambapo yule bwana harusi ananukia na kuvutia katika ile mandhari yake yanavyoonekana. Na ule udi ndo pia unazidi kutia manukato mazuri na kuonekana katika mtu, maana kila anapopita unasikia ananukia, yani inavutia zaidi. Alhamdulillah, tunashukuru katika Uislamu ni dini ya amani kuvaa kanzu nyeupe. Kwa hivyo leo wakati wa harusi ukivaa pia kitu rangi nyeupe huwa ni jambo zuri la amani, la kufurahisha.
So lazima tulipatie kipaumbele na tunalipatia heshima yake kama vazi takatifu na vazi jema.
Naibu Rais William Ruto hii leo amewataka wapinzani wake na wandani wa Rais Uhuru Kenyatta kukoma kuwatisha viongozi wanaoegemea mrengo wake kwa nia ya kuwashurutisha kukoma kumuunga mkono. Akizungumza na wakazi katika kaunti ya Bomet alipofika kukagua miradi ya maendeleo, Ruto alitoa michango kwa makundi ya wahudumu wa bodaboda, akisema ataendelea na azma ya kusaidia watu walio katika hali duni kiuchumi. Kadhalika ametofautiana na msimamo wa Rais Uhuru Kenyatta na Raila Odinga, akisema pendekezo la viongozi kutoka makabila tofauti kupokezana uongozi halifai, bali sera ndizo zinapaswa kuongoza mjadala wa ni nani atachaguliwa kuongoza taifa. Aliyekuwa gavana wa kaunti hiyo na kinara wa chama cha mashinani Isaac Ruto aliandamana na Ruto na kuashiria nia ya kuungana naye kisiasa.
Mambo ya rotational presidency ama rotational leadership ama rotational governor ama rotational MPs ama rotational MCAs, tunataka tuwaambie we are not interested in leadership that is arrived at through lottery on ethnicity or clan or other petty issues. Tuwezi kukubali eti nyinyi mutatushurutisha na kutulazimisha eti ya kwamba tusipofanya yale mnataka nyinyi eti mutatufanyia hii, ati mutatufunga, ati mutatupeleka kotini, ati mutalete DCI, ati mutalete EACC, ati mutalete KRA. Mimi nataka niwaambie na niwapatie ilani ya mapema. Hatuwezi kurudi nyuma.
Na tunaenda mapumzikoni. Yoshua Mokori yupo katika studio, atarejea na taarifa za spoti.
How powerful is the healing power of Vaseline? We applied Vaseline jelly to one leaf, the other we left alone. After just a few days, the difference is visible. Nothing locks in moisture better to keep skin restored. That's the healing power of Vaseline.
I learned that through adversity, people carry you through. My name is Juliana Moirore. I started out with Old Mutual through Sam Wainaina, trying to look at different investment packages, and it's in one of those conversations that he mentioned the critical illness cover. At first I was like, why take a critical illness cover when you have got a medical cover? 2 years down the line, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. It was a numbing experience, scary. And being a single mother, I started thinking about my son. How will I get treated? 2 months since we put in the claim, it came through. It was a journey that was really difficult, the chemo, the surgery, and it's been 5 years, so far so good. So I really thank God. My journey with them made me believe that they have a human face into it. Congratulations to the 175 years, and that you treat others with the same kindness.
Maji mdosi wangu ametupa simu yangu ndani ya maji.
Mdosi wako kwa sawa? Venye Nkirota ameniambia ajui na akimpigia simu ashiki. Hi guy, what the?
For the women who deserve more, Moped is now in Kenya and more than 40 countries. With its nylon-free surface, new Moped has unique softness and up to 100% protection. Your skin will love it.
Mida ya kudunda sasa haraka upesi viwanjani ni Joshua Makori. Vihiga United inaoshiriki ligi kuu ya kandanda humu nchini ni miongoni mwa timu 10 ambazo zimenufaika na ufadhili wa kitita cha shilingi milioni 15 kutoka kwa hazina ya michezo ya kaunti ya Vihiga. Tuangalie hii taarifa. Baada ya kupanda daraja na kurejea kushiriki ligi kuu ya kandanda humu nchini msimu huu, klabu ya Vihiga United imepigwa jeki kifedha na kaunti ya Vihiga. Vihiga imepokea kitita cha shilingi milioni 7.
Sasa ni garanti kwamba kila mwaka kwa kila budget yetu tutaweka pesa ya sports. Lingana ni vile tutapata pesa kutoka kwa national government, ndio hivyo tuta increase, and I'm sure 2021 2022 tuta increase, tutaongeza labda kutoka 30 million labda tuta double iingie 60 million.
Nao mabingwa wa ligi ya kinadada Vihiga Queens wametia mfukoni shilingi milioni 2.
Ni ufadhili mkubwa sana, ni ufadhili mzuri kwa sababu wanalipwa mishahara na pia wanapewa ufadhili wa kwenda kucheza mechi.
Enyewe county government imetusupport sana. Kama wangekuwa hao wengine wetu tungekuwa hapa. Saa ile kitu kidogo wanatupatia tuna appreciate.
Na licha ya kufadhiliwa na kaunti, timu hizi mbele yaani Vihiga United na Vihiga Queens zimeshauriwa kuwasaka wadhamini wengine ili kujikimu 100%.
Msikae tu mkisema kwamba tuko na Vihiga County government ndio watatufadhili, kwa vile ubaya wa serikali ni kwamba sasa ile pesa inakosa kwa muda mrefu.
Jumla ya timu 10 ndizo zimenufaika na kitita cha shilingi milioni 15. Miongoni mwazo mbali na Vihiga United na Queens ni Vihiga Bullets iliyopata $500,000, volleyball milioni 1, ndondi $300,000 na tongi limodo $100,000. Tuangazia hii na ni kwamba shirikisho la mashindano ya ulengaji shabaha humu nchini Ngao Kenya limeendelea na maandalizi yake kabambe ya kuandaa mashindano ya bara Afrika mnamo Septemba mwaka huu huko Kirigiti, kaunti ya Kiambu. Mashindano hayo ambayo yatafanyika hapa Kenya kwa mara ya kwanza yaliahirishwa kwa mwaka mmoja kwa sababu ya janga la homa ya corona.
Hii ambayo inakuja kufanyika sasa hivi kwenye Septemba inafaa tuwe na safety officers zaidi ya 40, kama kitu 70 hapo. Kwa sasa hivi tuko karibu 56 I think. Tuko kama 56 safety officers. Lakini tunafaa kuipandisha kabisa mpaka karibu 100. Na hivyo tumeshaweka mikakati. Na mimi ile kazi hawa wameangalia wakasema bana Onyango, sisi tunataka wewe usimamie hii. Wameniambia wanataka mimi nisimamie ile capacity building ya safety officers, ndio tukifikia ile wakati tuweze kusimamia hii mchezo tukiwa tuko na nguvu ya kutosha. Na ile teknolojia ambayo tunahitaji pale sio nyingine, ni ile ya akili na kufuata utaratibu ya kitabu ambayo inaitwa rulebook ya IDPA.
Na hapa ndio lazima tushikane wote kama washikadau, maana sisi wote utalii, michezo, kama association walengaji shabaha, sisi wote ni lazima tushikane ili tuweke picha nzuri kwa taifa la Kenya duniani.
Na lazima mtahitaji mihela kutoka kwa wizara.
Mihela itahitajika. Maana kuna mipangilio mingi kwa sasa tuko katika harakati ya kuandaa ile range, ile shooting range ifike kiwango kinachohitajika cha kimataifa.
Ile ya Kirigiti?
Ya Kirigiti, Kiambu. Hapo ndio sasa tunataka tushikane wote, serikali ndogo za county kama Kiambu ambapo mashindano yatafanyika, tungewaomba pia waje washirikiane na sisi. County, serikali ya county ya Nairobi pia. Hapa ndio the main hub transportation, watalii wote watashuka hapa.
Ndio kitovu.
Sami na Amos hapo walikuwa wanatema madini yao wakati ya mikiki. Timu ya taifa ya raga ya wanawake inadhamiria kuandikisha matokeo ya kuridhisha katika michezo Olimpiki ya mwaka 2020 ambayo itafanyika jijini Tokyo, Japan kati ya Julai na Agosti mwaka huu. Kenya Lionesses imekuwa ikianua makali yake uwanjani RFUEA hapa jijini Nairobi. Timu hii itatumia michuano miwili ambayo itafanyika Ufaransa na Hispania ili kujiweka tayari. Kenya itakutana na mabingwa wa Olimpiki na ligi ya dunia New Zealand na Australia katika michuano hiyo. Katika makala ya mwaka 2016 jijini Rio, Lionesses iliandikisha matokeo duni kabisa ambapo iliambulia nafasi ya 11 kwa jumla. Katika anga ya mataifa ni kwamba Arsenal ilitoka sare tasa na Crystal Palace katika mechi ya kuwania ubingwa ligi kuu ya Uingereza iliyokuwa uwanjani Emirates jana usiku. Sare hii ina maana kuwa Arsenal iko katika nafasi ya 11 na alama 24 huku Palace ikiwa ya 13 na alama 23 hapo.
Nukta 6. Mtazamaji, tuendelea tukupasha hasa katika taarifa zetu mwendo wa saa 3 kamili. Mtazamaji, kufikia hapa sina budi kutamatisha NTV jioni. Nitasoma tu baadhi ya maoni hapa. Yusuf Gal Mogle anasema siasa ya Nairobi iko na wenyewe, wananchi ni kuchungulia tu. Habari ndio hiyo. Natazama nikiwa Laithamis County ya Marsabit. Shukrani sana. Naye Prince Mozart Jack anasema kazi safi sana county ya Mombasa. Naye Respect My Hustle anasema madaktari hawawezi kufanya kazi au kuwahudumia wagonjwa wakiwa peke yao. Na shukrani sana. Naitwa Nuru Abdulaziz, mwenzangu wa ishara ni Flora Atieno. Alamsiki.
This is NTV.
Geisha coconut milk and honey, enriched with coconut milk for soft and moisturized skin.
Be strong and last long.
In Kenya, 1 in 2 children suffer from cavities. Brushing with Pepsodent removes bacteria and repairs tiny holes before they become cavities. Because every smile matters.
Helen Paul.
Hello, madam. Would you like to join us on this mission?
Yes, but how?
Just one question for you. How do you keep your toilet clean?
I use regular detergent and bleach for washing and removing yellow stains. I've been using it for years.
Oh, madam, the regular detergents and bleach are used for washing clothes. To disinfect your toilet properly, you need Harpic 10X. It is specially made for germs and stains removal. Harpic's thick formula settles on stains and gives 10 times better cleaning compared to regular detergents and bleach.
Wow, now I'm convinced, Helen Paul.
Really?
Yeah.
Now that she's part of the mission, the next house is yours.
Do more to protect yourself and family from viruses that remain on the clothes. Separate laundry that has been exposed and do not shake to minimize the possibility of dispersing the virus through the air. Soaking your laundry in water and hand washing powder does more to kill germs than just a normal wash. After washing, dry your clothes in direct sunlight.
They say we do the expected. We say we're more than you expect. Sunlight, more than you expect.
NTV, turning on your world. The following program has been rated PG. It may contain scenes unsuitable for children under the age of 10.
Hello and welcome to the Weekend Edition. I'm Dr. Kingori. Maze, we have yet another classic show lined up for you. One of our recent favorite people as Kenyans is a gentleman who broke the internet with what can be described as the angry version of speaking in tongues.
Hata uninauo na kama unajinauo venye unajinauo monchoka ukuje ubanje hapa kwa ghetto tukusikize.
Haya basi, World Boss amemonchoka tubanje hapa kwa show ya leo, but hajakam tubanje mambo ya beef na Sheng Z. Nope. I watched him talk about his children in a few interviews, and I liked his passion and his love for his kids. That coincided with a topic we have been thinking about on this show for some time, young fathers. Now, what's the experience like for a boy child who becomes a father when they are not ready? Now, well, I believe the time is ripe, and we have just the perfect guest for that. Madocho Wakanairo is in the house.
Big up.
Hapo sawa kabisa, we'll be talking to him in a bit, but first, kuna historia tu kuongelea kwa show na bado imekuwa ikiniwasha sana maze. It's about the viral clip. This viral clip from a few weeks ago where police officers were seen allegedly beating a hand that did not feed them. Now, the police responded to this incident saying that the officers were defending themselves after the motorist attacked them. Now, the original version of that story uko kwa internet was that polisi ndio aligonga gari ya the Klobari na rungu. Na mtu yote ameendesha gari ama unajua umeendesha gari kwa hizi barabara ama uko na gari, unajua gari ikiguzwa kwa barabara, mtu usikia kama ni wewe ndio umeguzwa. Which explains why gari private huitwa personal. This was personal. Now, I have a feeling that the official response by the police to this incident is what may have prompted the request to the Inspector General of Police by a Kenyan man anaitwa Sirma. Sirma asked the Police Inspector General that kama anaweza pewa ruhusa ya kutandika makarao viboko for practicing corruption. Now, I don't know the answer that Sirham was hoping for, but if you ask me to put this in another context, hii ni kama you see a child disrespecting a parent, and then you come through with an offer. Mtoto anakuambiaje ati wewe ni kama BBI, ati ukipigwa kidogo lazima uchapane. Nipatie huyu sikubiri aingie laini. Now, this just shows that there is a very interesting relationship between the police and civilians. When you look at incidences kama ile ya Karatina University, where police officers allegedly ran for their lives, mnasikia maheta vile usema ati polisi hawapendi shule. Alafu uko na video tuone, ndio hii.
Kubaya.
Vile niliona hiyo kitu mara ya kwanza, I thought the police should change their motto, forward ever. And I promise you, our reporter Kenyanjui will do a comprehensive report on that story, and it will be coming soon, probably next week. And watching this, you may think that Kenyans don't like police officers. Wait until Kenyans catch you pretending to be a policeman. This image has been doing rounds online for a better part of this week. These two men were caught impersonating police officers. Walipigwa mpaka wakafanana. Which begs the question, what is this obsession Kenyans have with twins? These right here are man-made twins. This is the real definition of friends who unfortunately became family. Ukiwaangalia tu unaona made in Kenya. Yani, you may not look alike, but this right here shows the potential in this country. Whatever you want to become, Kenyans can beat you to it. Now, talk of redefining the concept of own image and likeness. And this was just because they pretended to be police officers. It's very hard to understand the relationship between Makarao na Wananchi. A few weeks before this, the same Kenyans were making fun of two police officers who were allegedly beaten up by a 19-year-old Form 3 student, said to be a girlfriend of one of them. Wenye mnaulizanga meaning ya disciplined forces, sijui kama hiyo inaingia hapo. Whatever happened to that story, by the way? In fact, now I have a feeling that you may have heard word that when a hacker hacks an organization, kuna kuanga na story ati sometimes they get offered a job. What if the police operated that way? msichana wa form 3 ana graduate high school as Corporal Cheryl. Now there is also the story of a Kieni constituent who refunded 5,000 shillings to his area MP that he had contributed his wedding so that he can get back his freedom of speech.
Nikakomenti kuhusu Kanini wakati alikuwa ameambia naibu wa rais ajiuzuru atoke kwa Jubilee ndio aende akaude chama chake cha UDA. Na nilijibu asubuhi kitu kama saa 10 na shamani wake wa Kanini wa CDF kaniambia nirudishe pesa alikuwa nipea za harusi. Imekuwa kama mtindo, kila siku nikiongea hata nikiuliza mambo ya Kieni ananirudisha pale ananirudisha pesa zenye walinipea siku ya harusi. Nikaona afadhali niite marafiki wangu wawili watatu tuketi chini tuone anatufikirie yenye tufanya sababu ya hizi pesa. Na ndio mmoja alikuja na solution akanipea advice akaniambia vizuri tuache hizi pesa ili niwe na amani kwa roho yangu.
Men love peace. But it's important to note that Kanini Kega is not the first Jubilee politician kupewa tano tena. But this was money. What if Mheshimiwa had donated blood? Huyo sasa ndio angeonyeshwa the literal definition of blood pressure. Wewe mtu wa damu yangu unaweza kunitukana kwa mambo ya CDF. Unaniharibia jina yet my blood runs in your family. Kama kuna mtu anafaa kutoa shukrani ni wewe. Hutu tutoto wako ni damu yangu. Nitwega. Wewe unafaa kuwa mfuasi wangu damu. Ewa binadamu wanaweza kukuonesha mambo. Now, on the flip side though, this incident can regulate how people take contribution. Natoa shukurani sana, umetutolea 50,000 lakini naomba nikurudishie 47,000. Sitaki hapa mbele tukosane nishidwe jinsi ya kukuambia kukuambia ukweli. Unaona wa China hapo walituletea vibada ati ni SGR lakini hatuwezi sema kitu shauri ya ile deni tuko nayo. Now the focus of our show tonight is early fatherhood, maze. Most people think that musician Lil Wayne is the youngest father that has ever been because he got his first daughter at the age of 16. No. The youngest father ever is an identified 9-year-old from China. Now, while I'm an advocate for people having a child at the right time, I've always been curious as to the experience of a man who has gotten a child when they are not ready. But there was the right time for a man to get a child. We break this topic down on the other end of this short commercial break with our guest, Madocho. See you guys in a bit.
Malkia siku njema na tunukiwa offers kila siku.
Piga *444# utunukiwe Credo double.
I wish I could have soft and glowing skin.
New Geisha Black Soap with activated charcoal to give you soft and glowing skin. New Geisha Black Soap and New Geisha Moringa.
Kuchukua selfie ni kuchukua control ya future yako. Buy an Oraquick or Insti HIV test kit from your local pharmacy or through My Dawa. Hurry and get yours today at 150 Kenya shillings for a limited period of time. To talk to someone on how to use the test kits or interpret the test results and what to do next, call 1190. Amua kujua. Chukua selfie.
Hawa ni wa Jones family last week. Hawa ni hao this week. Kwani kuliendaje? Wa Jones family wali get maximum entertainment for less. Na sahi wako closer than close. Pia family yako wanaweza kuwa close safe wakicheki world class international channels that put the quality back in your quality time.
That's what I'm talking about.
GoTV Max itawaleta closer mara that. So, upgrade to GoTV Max for just 890 shillings leo. GoTV. Love it.
I have to admit, I didn't like Sukuma Wiki when I was growing up, but now I've created a way to make Sukuma Wiki tastier and meatier. I simply add 2 Royco beef cubes, and the end result is a rich, meaty flavor. And today, I have brought along my harshest food critics for a taste test. My kids.
More, please.
Royco beef cubes. Add 2 small cubes for a big meaty taste.
Disinfect and protect your home with Jik. Jik kills 99.9% of illness-causing germs. Disinfect floors, kitchen and bathroom surfaces, and wash white clothes, towels, and dishcloths with Jik bleach. Just Jik it.
At ZTech University, we are committed to excellence. We have adhered to the Ministry of Health COVID-19 guidelines, keeping our students and the learning environment safe. We're back. We're safe. We're learning. ZTech University. Invent your future.
Welcome back to the Weekend Edition. I'm Dr. Kingori. Show nzito kama kawaida tuko nayo leo. And our guest for this episode ni CEO wa Kanairo, Madocho himself. Karibu sana kwa show.
Wagwan.
Karibu sana. Madocho, from all the videos you've seen of Madocho, I was particularly interested in one bit, being a father at a young age. Unajua ilinifascinate sana, ilinibamba sana juu ya hiyo element ya mimi nimeshare hiyo experience. Mtoi wangu sahi Dota wangu wako 7 years. 7 years old. Thanks man. Mtoi wako wako how old?
9 years.
Ulianza dhambi mbele yangu. Nikafikiria mimi sina. So mtoi wangu wako 7 years old. Najiambia najiuliza kama nilipata mtoi at the right time based on journey yenye imekuwa mpaka place nimefika. Na nikajiambia naweza penda kujiona kwa macho ya msee mwingine.
Kweli.
We experience yako ya kukuwa na mtoi ilikuwaje?
Bado vioi tu lakini si ati nisha regret. Unapata?
Okay.
Huo piki ni kwangu amekuwa ni blessing sana. Ni mdem na muitanga princessa.
Yes.
Sasa kwake actually having her ilifanya nikafungua macho. Na mind yangu ikakuwa imepanuka sasa. Juu kuna vitu most nilikuwa na do nikiwa youth. Nilikuwa nimejanga ngori sana. Sasa kuna mistakes kibir nilikuwa napiga mbaya. But sasa ule piki ni kukam. Mother piki ni akaniambia, hizi vitu udo zita reflect aje? In future. Huyu lalez utamwachia nani? Tuseme saa hii udunde ubugde. Utamwachia nani? Na mimi kulive life yangu kaa pikini sikukuwa na zingu wangu ile father unapata father figure. So the only person naweza sema alikuwa father figure wangu ni gukangu. Lakini ni RIP, big up sana kwake.
Pole sana.
Huyo sasa ndo at least nililearn kujua mwanaume anafaa kukuwa humble, anafaa kucheza kaa yeye. Juu unajua man is to error. Sasa ukiwa na lalez ukipata ule mde mwenyewe roho imebambika na yeye, ushampata, mshafanya ile mistake.
Mistake.
Unajua watu kwao itakuwa ni mistake. Washaona ni mistake. Mimi kwangu ilikuwa mistake. Mimi kwangu ilikuwa blessing.
Ulijua nataka mtoi ama
actually sikuwa ati najua. But venye ilikama kanichapia nilitake. Si ati niliruka. Nilimwambia hapo saa itabaki tumechangamka.
Haukuwa tempted kuruka ama ulikuwa poa kimfuko, ulikuwa unajua unaweza handle?
Sikuwa poa juu pia mimi nilikuwa kidato, nilikuwa form 3 mama kwa man. Nilianza kuitwa Zinki Mbokta.
Ukiwa form 4?
Form 4
ulikuwa baba ya mtu.
Mimi hata akiwa ndani ya Mbotu tayari nilikuwa naitwa daddy. Hiyo jina yani ilikuwa ishanibamba di.
Ulikuwa na ufadhi.
Yani ilikuwa ishanibamba. Alafu unajua nikiishi life yangu nikiwa pikini, ma siblings wangu mimi ndo nilikuwa naangalia. Unapata?
Yes.
Na si ati nilikuwa na regret juu bado ni la familia. Saa ile responsibility ilikamkimbokta. Shosho yangu pia akacheza kae, akanifundisha ukibaki peke yake unajua responsibility inaanza na ukishazaliwa.
Yes.
Once ushatoka kwa dunia, hapo ndo responsibility na inakam. Unaanza kulearn, unafunzwa, unalearn, zingine unafail, unajifundisha. Nae.
So ukiwa form 4 ulikuwa mzazi. By the time uko 4th form mtoi wako ashazaliwa. So mwalimu akikwambia enda ulete mzazi, mimi ni mzazi.
Hapana. Kwanza mamode atakuwa na nauo.
Ilikuwa kitu ya chini ya maji?
Ilikuwa chini ya maji lakini maarifu alikuwa na nauo. Unaona?
Sasa ilikuwa ni experience gani ilikuwa inakupatia? As in ulikuwa unafilaje that uko Daro watu wanasoma pipette lakini wewe uko na mtoto mahali?
Unajua sasa upikini pia kukam. Mama wa Reina wa mine
alikuwa high school hata yeye?
Alikuwa form 1. Sasa mamake huo bado naweza muita madhangu. Unapata amecheza part bigi sana. Kiee. Hadi mapikini sasa wako kwake, unapata? Juu ile life mimi niligo through, siwezi taka mapikini wangu ende hiyo life, unaona? Nataka wapate the best life yenye mimi sikupata. Na ile life sikupata juu sikukuwa na bazenga, itabaki pia mimi nicheze kama mimi, wajue mimi ni bazenga. Au wapate ku experience ile life ya bazenga. Unaona? Niwaachie legacy, bazenga wangu jo alicheza kae.
Kuna hii time ulikuwa bad boy. Hii ukiwa bad boy ulikuwa na dream. Na kuna time life imechange, umekuwa msee mmoja machua na uko na inaitwaje, uko na wisdom fulani rare. Unget? Na what's the difference in terms of the dreams ulikuwa nayo ukiwa bad boy na sahi after kuget mtoi?
Nikiwa bad boy nilikuwa, unaona vile nilikuwa kidato from Pikini, nilikuwa na ile naona yenyewe tunakula shida. Nataka nilikuwa na focus, lazima ni make do. Lazima ni kwetu na do. Unaona? Judo tu ndo nimeona do ndo kila kitu. Hawezi ishi bila do. So nikiwa hiyo seko life ilikuwa kujibamba sasa hiyo happy nini but bado niko focused. Najua ni nini nataka but sijui pali naipata.
Ni nini ulikuwa unataka specifically?
Nilikuwa nataka yani niachane na hiyo life. Hiyo ugwangi ya kusafa, unapata? Nataka hii life niondokee but sina way. Unaona niko kidato, najua niko na pikinyo, niko na pikini, upikini najua lazima kuna siku ataniitisha kitu. Lazima, unapata? Kuna vitu kibao atadai. Na sitaweza kumpatia nikiwa mselfish na sina target. Sina target ya kitu nadai.
Sawa. Bad boy ikapita stage. So sahi wewe ni msee, mko na mpaka group pale nini? Gota City iko wapi exactly?
Gota City sasa unaweza chukua mat za Doni, inaitwaje Double M. Unaweza chukua Double M ya kwa mama Doni. Ikuingize ushukie
Jacaranda.
Ukishikia Jacaranda.
Barabara ya kuteremka Sowe.
Sasa achana hiyo barabara ya kuteremka Sowe. Kuna barabara nyingine inatengenezwa. Ukishuka tu hivi kwa hiyo rotejo unabadilika on your right.
Ya kuingia Doni phase 8.
Bas. Hiyo ya phase 8 inateremka ikiteremkanga ikienda Gota City. Gota City sasa ni phase 8, kuna ile roe ile maji. Hiyo roe imegawanisha. Ndio uingie tasi ya Baraka huko.
Nimejaribu kulocate hiyo nini sana. Sawa. So dream yako after kukua ni aje transformation? Ikakuwa unataka kutulia kabisa transformation na mtaa kama Gota City mkiwa na group kama Dot Rice. Ni mna transform wase ama ni wase tu wa mtaa wanakam pamoja na dreams za kuchange life ya ghetto?
Sasa unapata pale mtaani tuko mayouths wengi na tukapata kuona katikati yao mayouths wa ghetto si kila mtu ufaulu na kidato, unaona? Si kila mtu itamkubali. Majority watabaki ghetto. Na wakibaki ghetto wanabaki ghetto wakifanya nini? Wakidhulumu wase ama sasa hiyo tukaona hii dhulma, hii kuchai ida.
Kuchai ni
kusanya.
Kusanya.
Hii kuchai idai. Si tunawezeka hii mtaa ikuwe na mamboka na tukue indo shamba yetu tunakula do yetu na hatuumizi mtu. Sasa ikabaki
na ni
enough. At least unajua hapo utapata do yako ya food, utapata do yako ya kupiga look utapata do ya kupiga inaitwaje ya kulipa shelter, unapata. Na bado unaweza pata sasa do ya kusele ukidai kusele. Which kusele
celebrate, kujibamba.
Kujibamba. Kusele si baya, lakini kama youth usisele pia sana. Utasele sana usaha. Sele ukicheza nayo. Sele ukikuwa na gedhafu ya mbele. Unajua kitu unadai. Usisele ati unasele unasahau kuna kesho.
Na unaheshimu kitabu sana.
Kitabu ni muhimu.
Na kuna mafala hapa nje wanafikiria madocho haezi ongea kizungu.
Sina banja.
Basi. Now when it comes to kubanja. Kubanja ni kuongea.
Kuongea,
right? When it comes to say it's an internet age, right? Your kids are exposed. They've probably seen their dad in
going
videos
viral,
circulating. Have you received a response from them? Have you seen their reaction to who Madocho is now?
You know, living with my kids, I'm fun to them. I'm a joker. So they know I'm a joker. Even what I'm doing right now, they think it's all jokes.
For real?
For real.
And that brings me to a curious question, the video that went round of you guys inaitwaje? Bringing it on the Mbogi Genje baby, mkivurugana. Sasa ungeingia hapo, uvaliwe, utoke teke. As in, bad jokes.
Ningetoka teke? Ningekutoka teke siyo story ingekuwa ni dua. Lakini sasa unajua, mimi ni bad boy hadi kuliko ama bad boy. Si nimekwambia mimi nilikuwa bully wa mabuli.
Sasa ni kutulia unatuliaga.
Mimi uhola med.
Uko na switch.
Hiyo switch nilikuja kunao. Unaona? Nikikunywa na kwa mse mwingine.
Yes.
Na jamaraka, napenda vita. Nikaona indogogi hiyo nitaichorea. Acha ni hola med, hii sidai.
Inachoma.
Juu hii inanidhigiza sana, hii inafanya na do vitu. Ulipa mbaya. Nikaichorea. Na wife yangu akaniambia jo ibonde.
Hiyo ndio inaleta noma.
Hiyo ndio inaleta noma. Kukuja kuona yenyewe nikaona ni confinement. Kumola kwa mocho si mbaya, lakini unasikia ngani
mocho ni kukunywa pombe.
Drink
responsibly. Thank you. Na
responsibly.
Na wewe ni mdiverse kwa languages. Sheng yenu ya hiyo school yenu ni something else. Tulisikia Kimonyoski tukafikiria tumesikia Sheng, then sasa ikakam yenu. Wewe ni mjaka by descent. From side ya mother.
Side ya Roko.
Kijaka na unasikia Kisapere bado cause Dumboine.
Juu ya kustay na Wasapere.
Bas.
Actually nimelelewa nao.
Na sasa kitu ulinibamba nayo ni ati hiyo kusikia Kisapere ilikusaidia 207. How?
Sasa 207 kalikuwa kamehuha. Kalikuwa kamewaka mbaya. Na nimetoka Dumbo na igie kwa mzukini wangu seti. Satellite.
Unaishia kwa
kuzo yangu.
Kwa kuzo yako? Seti.
Sasa kufika rerouter satellite ile Raima pale.
Yes.
Kufika hapo nikapatana na Mbogilize ya Mangoki wamejaa ngori mbaya.
Hao ni mongeji. Wamechemka yao yote.
Sasa kitu iliniokolea. Nilibonga. Aliniuliza na Kisapere lakini ya ndani, but nikashikanisha tu ile size ya ile tu, yani nikajua labda ananiuliza ni hatia. Mimi nikamwambia niko bie, lakini na Kiswahili. Sikumjibu na Kisapere, juu ningemjibu na Kisapere
angekushika na accent,
angetaka niongee Kisa na hiyo deep. Nikamwambia na Kiswahili. Juu sasa juu ya rangi akadhani mimi ni Msapere, akaniambia nani Msapere wapi? Mimi nikamwambia mimi ni wa Udhero. Nimezaliwa Kanairo. Sasa sijui Kisapere hivyo sana. Unaona? Naielewa tu. Akaniambia wewe ukifika huko chini huko ukipatana na wengine useme hivyo hivyo, ndio ikaniokolea.
I feel when him say inaitwaje, when him sharp. That's my opinion, my assessment. Na nilisikia unataka kuwa kwa radio
bana.
Ni nini unataka kuambia Wakenya kwa radio?
Nadai kuwa bamba, nadai kuwapatia ma youths jo na mapikini. Niwapatie ma advice jo za life. Venye bado wanaweza counter hii life. Na bado tu ni wabambe juu bado mimi ni joka mbaya. Niko na ufala tu za mine.
Okay. Sawa. Tunafanya trial yako ya radio kwa Nation FM on
Wagwan.
Monday. Inaitwa The Weekend Extension. Asante sana kwa kuona invite yetu kwa show leo. You are a decent person. Sana. But na kuangalia na shanga ukiniambia kuna watu wanakujua kama bully. Najua wana watch show na najua wanakujua anashindwa maze huyu ni mzee mmoja ama ni wase different. I don't know, ni life. Na unajua ukiishi area do in a run, lazima ukue bully ndio upate kitu unadai. But sasa bado lazima ukue bully ndio upate kitu unadai. Sasa si bully ile ati bully. Lazima ukue kichwa ngumu. Ukue tu kichwa ngumu. Haitu bully. I think the word ni aggressive. Lazima ukue msewa wa kutaka. Basi. One word to wase wa Gota City. Shout out to watoi wako. Big up sana watu wa Gota City. Vijana wa daraja pale, Dotrais, big up sana. Na mapikinyo wangu jo, la princesa, la re na wapenda sana. Sana, hao ni roho yangu. Na Maria yangu, la reina jo, big up. Wazi. Asante sana kwa come show. Now that's it for the weekend edition. See you next week. My name is Dr. Kingori, lakini tuko na madocho on Nation FM from 10 to 11 on Monday. See you then, maze. But for the weekend edition show on TV next Friday, same time, same place. Thank you for joining us, maze.
Yes, massive and crew. Tune in every Saturday from 7 up until 10 p.m. on Nation FM 96.3 for reggae music. #JamDownKE.
Yes man, we move the party straight to your TV screens. Ausio, kuanzia saa 4 mpaka saa 6. It's all about the best of roots, dancehall and lovers music from the Caribbean. Maze Jam Down, Noma Sana with my co-host Miss Katiwa, Caribbean Queen. DJ Mo right here, rapping the most vibes. Come boom.
For all your personal and business banking needs, SMS GROW to 0708 000 111. UAP Old Mutual. We've got you covered. Doing great things every day.
New year comes with new year deals. Renew your corporate subscription and get a bonus. Subscribe to Nation e-paper for 3 months and get 1 week absolutely free. 6 months and get 2 weeks absolutely free. 1 year and get 3 weeks absolutely free. To sign up, visit epaper.nationmedia.com or email subscription@ke.nationmedia.com. Offer valid till 28th February 2021.
Acha nikae kwenye mpini. Hafi njaa.
Na kila mmoja ana riziki yake.
Mimi vile na hustle hivi, hii ndio jasho langu.
Kila Jumanne katika NTV jioni utapata makala maalum ya jasho langu, kuangazia raha na karaha, heri na shari za watu katika kazi na vibarua mbalimbali.
Mimi Max Riala na kuunda glass ndilo jasho langu.
Na hii ndio jasho langu.
Naitwa The African Dogman na hii ndio haso yangu. Nami ni Daniel Mule na hili ndilo jasho langu.
They recognize that there is no wall that you can build that can keep the enemy away from you if God doesn't keep you safe. And that's a big lesson for us.
cutting through the market's noise to bring you the real business story.
Who has valued the assets of these 5 state sugar farms? Comparison is made in terms of labor costs. It's a lot more favorable in markets in Asia compared to countries such as Kenya. There is the reality that in Kenya, what are called conservative funds, or those ones which focus largely on government debt, are outperforming those who are in the aggressive side, who focus on the more risky assets. Is debt restructuring on the table for you? Are we looking at another capital raise potentially? Let's talk about the quality of companies which are listing. How do we sit with the VAT refunds discussion?
Business Redefined is your go-to point for a 360 degrees coverage on the world of business.
Business Redefined. Comprehensive, rigorous, informative.
I'm waking you up to the hottest morning show. Tina Kagia, The Morning Fix, Nation FM.
Hey, how are you doing? I am Tina Kagia, aka The Voice. And every single morning, starting from 6 up until 10, catch me on The Morning Fix on 96.3 Nation FM, where good music lives. Let's have awesome conversations. Talk about life, love, money, politics, school, education. No topic is out of bounds.
Mornings with Tina Kagia, 96.3.
Nothing but the best of conversations. Talk about your stories, because honestly, it's important to unwind. See you every day.
All the hits with Tina Kagia.
They're my morning show.
The Morning Fix on Nation FM.
Nation FM.
Where good music lives.
We are Nation, Africa's independent media brand. We are committed to empowering all Africans, from the young to the old, from the curious to the educated, and from the heart of the cities to the rural areas. We are Nation. Join us, because if you want to get far, you do it together. Nation. Empower Africa.
This is NTV.
A very, very good evening to you and welcome to TTTT. My name is Amina Abdi Rabar. So many different stories that were trending this entire week that, some shocked us, some surprised us, some not really or not quite. These are some of the stories that are making your headlines this week. Starting off with a 17-year-old teenager who stabbed 2 teachers in Kisii school. What a sharp student we have here. The 51-year-old Akorino pastor John Gishini has been jailed for 140 years. Find out why. All right, so now British supermodel Naomi Campbell has been appointed as Magical Kenya's international ambassador. But Kenyans are not happy. Why? Find out what the panel has to say. All right, so now let's get a chance to meet our panelists tonight, weighing 155 pounds. I don't know how much you guys say.
At the blue corner, blue corner, blue corner.
At the blue corner. I think between the two of you, though, if you guys did fight, Mato would win. My money would be on Zadadri.
You know what they say about public polls? When election comes,
you sound like
this
Trump.
is what Ugandans said.
That's what they say?
Siwache kuongelea kuhusu Uganda, please. Hapa kuna feelings.
How have you guys been? How have you guys been?
I've been all right.
Muri Mutsia, that's what they say. What up, Watuwangwa, Uganda? You guys are good?
Oh, that's what they say?
That's what they say.
No. There's only one party that can tell us what they say in Uganda here.
No, it is true. Murumutia.
Murumutia?
Muri. Kama ni moja, Oriotia.
Murimutia, Oriotia. Our Ugandan brothers, Oriotia.
It's from the Pearl.
Lakini, we, iko wapi kofia yako?
You didn't get the memo.
No, yeah. Najua nilikuwa nimeambiwa ni kama red beret, lakini haiko beret, iko nyuma. So
Umekuja na Red Nyuma.
I see you though. Ilikuwa inafaa kuwa better lakini ikakuwa ni nyuma. This story, the first story by the way, a lot of people had a lot to say about this, and I bet most of you saw it trending for a really long time. Naomi Campbell. Now Kenyans on social media have been angered by the Ministry of Tourism's decision to appoint British supermodel Naomi Campbell as the Magical Kenya International Ambassador. Did the KOT misunderstand the whole concept? I know now we've seen so many different people chime in and give their 2 cents, from Caroline Mutoko to a number of individuals. What do you guys think? Kwachi, let me start with you.
I think it's true. I agree with people like Caroline. The problem we have right now as a country is that the internet has provided a weapon to people who have nothing to say. So they still find something to say anyway.
No, but why is that our
first the thing
reaction? Anger and hatred.
Exactly. Bile, anger. Why are we angry? No, I think she does it to the mingi sana. Yeah, we have so many problems as a country.
We are Kenyans, and complaining and fighting and throwing stones
is
our norm.
You know, the way someone posts something, when Flacco was being brought down, someone goes on the internet and says, anamtukana kwanza alafu anasema, by the way,
what happened? Tell me the whole story. Because they don't have the full story usually. They're just like, ati nini? Kwa nini? Oh my gosh, what does that have to do with anything?
So now this is just another case of Kenyans feeling that this is a job being taken from one of us. They don't know how it works. We are not an island. We don't exist alone. We need to be sold out there. And it happens all the time. Like just the way Caroline was saying, Sauti Sol was selling South Africa. We've had even some local brands here that are selling international products.
Aye, come on.
Yes.
I've worked with SATB as well.
Exactly. Yeah. You guys have brand ambassadors for phones that are not local. You get.
But you see, the problem with Kenyans, we react emotionally as opposed to logically first. Then after some time, that's when it hits you. Okay.
Siungesema.
So, siungesema hivo, ndio ni understand. But, so, the idea is to sell Kenya to everybody else other than Kenyans. So you want a Kenyan to do that? Isn't that what Kenyans do?
Already.
Yeah, already.
Thank you very much.
Exactly. So that's what you should be doing without getting paid.
To open you up to different markets.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So
people were saying Lupita should be doing this. That's what she is doing. Mtu akimuona anatuona.
Akiona Barack Obama ana.
Exactly.
Akiona Eliud Kipchoge ana.
Exactly.
Anatuona.
Yeah.
So mtu anafanya kazi hiyo tayari.
Akiona Simple Boy anamuona tu yeye peke yake.
Sasa kwa matusi mapema hivi.
I'm sorry.
Matusi mapema hivi ni ya nini? But we did also have Eddie Kenzo, I think a couple of years ago, maybe 10, 11 years ago. You know, so that, you know, you pick someone who's really big in whichever market they're in, and then you use them. I went to Abu Dhabi to send the Grand Prix. Watu wangu wa Koma, Kayole, Isili, sijui kama wataenda. But you see, they use someone different to sell what it is that they have in the countries.
The only problem that people also had, that's notwithstanding, is that Naomi Campbell, it's been a while since she's been in the light.
Does that matter?
So you're saying she's not relevant anymore?
No. Exactly. So that was the point of the naysayers who are saying that even if we are supposed to get someone who's coming from outside, why is it that we are not getting someone who's there now?
My friend, let me use the words of 50 Cent.
Yes.
When you work every day, and then you get yourself out of that job, that does not mean you're stupid. It means your job is on autopilot. So that means you're still making your money. Just because Naomi Campbell is not running the runway, or rather walking the runway, does not mean she's still not making her money, one. And then does not mean she's not a legend already. Like, she's already a legend in the industry. So she doesn't need to be there every day in your faces to see. But because if you hear the name Naomi Campbell and emotions are already aroused from the fact that it is her. Si tumetuma MPs ambao ni wa county ambayo haina football stadium hata moja waende wakarepresent sijui how kama hiyo tuko sawa nayo hii ndio tutalia.
No, I think maybe some started saying yeni low budget. You know Kenyans too, the way they can say
you saw the money?
Things.
You saw the money? How much money she's been paying a month?
No.
Allegedly.
Yeah?
Allegedly. I hope our lawyers here heard me say
allegedly.
Allegedly. 14 Mike.
What? Per
month.
Per month?
Which
is that in dollars or Kenyan shillings?
Kenyan shillings.
Per month?
Kenyan shillings.
Do you know the biggest CEO in Kenya is paid 31 million per month?
That's me. You're talking about me, Kwach. You're actually I can't wait. I can't wait to be those people who people talk about. They're like, have you heard what Amina? Have you heard what Amina did? Have you?
But you see, you can imagine it might be that alleged 14 million.
Okay.
And then free visits to any place that she'd want to go to, because, you know, so the value of it could actually go higher.
That said, though, I do understand the relevance point that people were making, where they want someone who's hot, someone who's big right now, and an A-list celebrity, as they call them. So I get where they come from.
Get Cardi B to represent us.
Thanks.
Wapi.
Watu hawatakuja. Wapi. Wakuje wapi.
Let's talk about Uganda. Now, Ugandans have been thrown into darkness until further notice a day before a hotly contested presidential election pitting President Yoweri Museveni, one of Africa's longest-serving leaders, against his strongest opponent, who is Robert Kyangulanyi alias Bobi Wine. Now, Internet Monitor networks have said its data are showing that Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp, Instagram, Skype, Snapchat, Viber, and Google Play Store were among a lengthy list of sites unavailable via Uganda's main cell network operators. Now, meanwhile, as we speak, M7 is currently leading in the polls. So,
oh, you were expecting something
different. I actually was.
It's not even polls. It is the results.
Every time I watch
that's not tentative.
Were you expecting something different?
No, when I watch those videos, especially when Bobi Wine is like on those cars, and you just feel like freedom is coming. Not tomorrow, not today,
not
the day.
One thing I'm not sure
I don't know if it's coming.
How it happened is I can see a tweet from Bobi Wine's account. I'm not saying it's him, but from his account. There's an account that is verified, His Excellency Bobi Wine, and he says, we are under siege, the military has jumped over the fence and has now taken control over our home. I do not know how they were able to tweet that.
Maybe he gave his password and his like
but
credentials.
That is what he's saying.
His account
is it's the verified. I follow him. I follow the man.
No, but don't you? I mean, doesn't it remind you of our country only decades ago?
Not decades ago.
Oh, we're there.
Amina, you know, I was shocked how people are getting surprised that Akina Uganda are being shut off. We were shut off last elections.
Were we
mainstream
really?
TV?
No.
Were we really?
No. You guys are kwani amkumbuki tukizimwa time
I don't remember.
Not to the extent that it was done in Tanzania and it is being done in
right
Uganda.
Now in Uganda.
Let me ask you guys.
They're almost
Ours was not social media. Ours was mainstream media. Where all TVs were brought down streaming, and they were switched off.
I remember that actually. You know, now that you say that,
yeah, that's what I was wondering. How come you guys do not remember? We're acting like we
no,
have
but
been
I'm just
in a
saying
better
that we
place.
didn't feel suffocated and silenced to the extent
because
our social media was alive. I think that's the only reason why we feel like we were in any better place. And
no, you know, we now exist in a very different world where social media is sort of like mainstream media. That's why even for Donald Trump to exit the platform, or rather forcefully exit the platform, you feel like, wait, I can't communicate with the millions of people that I can reach.
I mean, while I agree with you, I want to say it's no lesser when when people try to stop you from speaking anywhere, even if it was you in person, someone says you can't express that point. Hautaongea na tutakusikia.
True.
Hata kama you are just a single person, it still has the same intensity and same,
but Coach, also the question at this point should be, will we expect this to happen in Kenya? Because there's some Kenyans who are comfortable right now. They are saying, it happened in Tanzania because there was an incumbent that was running. Right now it's happening in Uganda because there's an incumbent running. But we don't expect, things might change. We don't expect an incumbent to run in our coming elections. Are we going to be forced into this same state just because there are people who are currently in government who will want to be half incumbent and they want now to be full?
But you know the problem also is, when something is set, when you set a trend, someone starts thinking, Mato, can you stop? Stop. When you start something, someone starts thinking, kumbe inawezekana. It might not happen this coming election, not even the next, not even the other one.
Yeah.
But some time in future, there will be someone, now like America, they never thought that what happened would happen. That could ever happen.
It's also, you have to understand, everything about Trump has been, it's history making.
It's been a
from
shocker.
The two impeachments.
Did you guys see that Gado cartoon where you're saying, in America, it is the networks shutting off the president. In Africa, it's the other way around.
It is the other way around. What do you think, though? Let me throw this back at you who's watching the show at the Trend Live. The hashtag is TTTT. As Mato has asked, is this something that we could be facing in a year
Let's start learning VPN, guys. Anza kujua venye unaweza ingia mtandao ukiwa Rwanda.
With that hashtag, tell us your 2 cents. We're going to be back. We're taking a short break. When we get back, we talk about a student who stabbed 2 teachers, a pastor who was jailed for 140 years, and there's a guy who said, kwa sababu ya bangi, he likes older women. All that is coming up after the break.
Man, you got to have game. When it's all sweat, pressure and anxiety, yet that's just halftime. Stay cool and in the game with Imperial Leather for Men range. Wear luxury. A little luxury goes a long way.
Go ahead is believing to make each day a brighter day. It is our faith to start all over again. Go ahead is never giving up in the face of adversity. To go ahead, now that is the Kenyan spirit.
Do your gums hurt? Yeah. Does your toothpaste contain sage, eucalyptus, myrrh, chamomile? All that in one toothpaste? Yes, try Colgate Herbal. Colgate Herbal contains nature's best herbs and Colgate's fluoride technology to give you strong teeth and healthy gums. Ah, Colgate Herbal. Let's go. Colgate Herbal for strong teeth and healthy gums naturally.
Oh, yani aje, mino jonte fresh. Do you transform ordinary za mtush zenye ziuka mna ya rufu ya bail into the freshest igi koshi yote. Siri ni real mpya ya pink. So clean, so fresh. Ma customer unaisana na story. Ninatumia aerial touch of down mpya tu.
Kevin Onyona, who owns the popular Swahili Village restaurants in the US, is back on Daring Abroad after visiting his home village.
The village is fresh, man.
How is he faring amid COVID-19?
We have learned how to adapt.
His views on the transition in the US.
Trump has not been a good president for America.
On Kenya to the World, leather exports by Rift Africa Leather. And on My Magical Kenya,
Kisumu Impala Sanctuary acts as a homage to wildlife.
This Saturday, 7:30 p.m. only on NTV.
Select a plot of value-added land within Garden of Joy Gated Community off Koma Kennel Road, Machakos. Now kwamue January na 21K with Optiven. Call us now on 0790 300 300.
There was a moment in time when we stopped attending physical classes to stay safe, but that did not mean that learning had to stop. At ZTech University, we continue to deliver the highest quality of education through technology and integrated innovation in educating our future leaders. We now have the go-ahead to go back on the quest of knowledge, to go back and search for solutions that our world needs. As we reopen to this new normal, we are committed to excellence. We have adhered to the Ministry of Health COVID-19 guidelines, keeping our students and the learning environment safe. We're back. We're safe. We're learning. We admit both self and government-sponsored students for our degree, diploma, and certificate programs that are accredited by the Commission for University Education. ZTech University. Invent your future.
Do more to protect yourself and family from viruses that remain on the clothes. Separate laundry that has been exposed and do not shake to minimize the possibility of dispersing the virus through the air. Soaking your laundry in water and hand washing powder does more to kill germs than just a normal wash. After washing, dry your clothes in direct sunlight.
They say we do the expected. We say we're more than you expect. Sunlight, more than you expect.
This is it, girls? No! Let them know. Let them know irritation. Let them know. Let them know irritation. We need a revolution.
For the women who deserve more, Moped is now in Kenya and more than 40 countries. With its nylon-free surface, new Moped has unique softness and up to 100% protection. Your skin will love it.
At ZTech University, we are committed to excellence. We have adhered to the Ministry of Health COVID-19 guidelines, keeping our students and the learning environment safe. We're back. We're safe. We're learning. ZTech University. Invent your future.
Welcome back. Okay, guys. And welcome back. You're watching TTTT. Thank you so much for the tweets that we're getting. Mato, read some of them that we're getting right now.
All right. So kuna moja hapa hivi nauliza at I am underscore Wangui underscore kuuliza tu kwani studio inaoshwa? Kwa nini? Juu tumewekwa kwa balcony.
Lakini wa Kenya.
And there's somebody here who says, Advocate Barasa says, get your facts right. Kenya shut off during digital migration. # stop the drink. Kenya.
That's not true.
Are you talking about? You're not talking about the digital migration.
But one thing
I wasn't
for
talking
sure,
about the digital migration.
there was no shut off during the elections.
But it was right after the election.
Right after is not.
No.
It was compared to now, or it was Tanzania.
Within the electionary period.
Are riding very high during the election period, so we would have remembered.
No. Let me ask you guys. When we talk about
which moment are you talking about specifically?
I'm talking about the Raila swearing in when
that
people
was
were shut off. It was right after the election.
Yeah.
During the electionary period.
Like
when you are talking about the 2007-2008 violence, you say it happened during the election, after the elections of 2007-2008. Sometimes I ask myself.
What?
Sometimes I ask myself.
One last one.
No, wait. What do you ask
You guys
yourself?
don't deserve me.
No compare time. No compare
That's
time.
I regret.
Last one here. I think Kenyans should be very careful with their vote. We should value our democracy. I hope we learn from Uganda.
Yeah, that's very, very true. And then there was also another tweet coming in, I think from Uganda.
Yeah.
Someone...
Ambia Amina, UG is currently about to host the biggest music award in Africa, the Mamas. I'm in Kampala and enjoying the media blackout.
What? No,
Wow.
sasa amechangia. But thank you for your tweet. It's just a siku mali tulikuwa tunaelekea.
You remember what I told you about social media and giving people a weapon?
Oh, yeah.
Just, you know the way you are in a meeting and then there's this uncle who has money but normally he doesn't have anything to say. Sasa anaanza kulazimishwa. Sema kitu.
That's so true.
Sema
That
kitu.
is so true.
Lakini kitu kubwa ina happen huko lakini pia bado hatujui.
The Mamas is taking place actually on the 20th of February. The
It is?
MTV Mamas, yes, it's a big deal.
At least we know the Ugandan government does not support musicians.
I don't even know how they agreed for this event to even take place there. But anyway, Bobby Wine, all the very best. And I really hope he's not like hurt or injured. You know that they don't play.
Yeah.
They don't play. Now let's talk about this student. Okay, now police are investigating an incident where a student is alleged to have stabbed 2 teachers at Kisii School. One of the teachers, Edwin Mokaya, sustained deep injuries in the forehead after the Form 3 student is said to have attacked him after refusing to be punished for reporting late to class. What is this? I felt like, you know the way, because we read a lot of stories when it comes to violence, we hear a lot of them, but from the West, where you hear like a student had a gun and shot a number of students. This isn't something that we hear a lot, even though we do get the stories of students who get to injure teachers, and I wonder, how do you guys remember when you were in school?
Yeah.
And we were angry, and
Yeah.
the teachers were mean and sometimes unnecessarily so.
We have traumas.
That's why you're in therapy right now. You
Exactly.
know what I mean?
Yeah, like you need to talk Mato down.
Yeah, I know. Like, I just need to hug him. I feel like it's too much.
It's
He's
too much.
hyperventilating. it's too much. He's got
palpitations. Mato wears the jacket long sleeved for a reason.
Yeah, that's it's a Mikono. They can tell a story. They tell stories.
But you know,
uh-huh.
When I saw this story, the first thing I thought was when there were reforms in the education program, they started saying that teachers should now just teach and go home. And I remember one of the things the teachers were saying is that if you don't give us that leeway or that small space to be able to instill some kind
of discipline,
in these kids, then there will become a time where you'll not know the difference between a teacher and the student. So now we are in this place where the student has been told that this teacher's job is to teach you and to go home. Akikuuliza mbona umechelewa class, that is not his business. He's not a cop. Asishinde hapa akikuuliza. So the teachers are also finding themselves, and this is just the second time. I don't know if you guys saw the other story where Form 3 student aliumiza polisi wawili in Siaya and stabbed them. That time was a piece of glass. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to.
Just like in the marriage institution, where there is the husband who's the head, and then the wife who is the helper, the companion.
Yeah.
In this case, I'm just taking that as an example.
I feel like Amina is about to disagree.
Oh my
with
God, but you know me. Oh.
yeah.
Let me tell you.
I can see it right in the side eye.
Emphasis on helper and companion.
Let me tell you, but I swear to God, you know me. I don't even know. You know Umeiona?
Kametoka. Aya, skiza hii. Because you definitely can't have
helper.
two heads.
Did you say help?
Amina, you can't have two heads.
On, yeah.
If you have two heads, then that's a monster.
Yeah.
It's okay.
In school,
yes.
you have the teacher who's supposed to instill knowledge, education, and if the student is bringing themselves to the level of the teacher, hawatasikizana. You'll have two heads, and that's a monster. Nothing will exist there.
Exactly.
Mtoto akililia wembe mpe, huyu alipewa hadi kisu. Akaenda kaumiza mwalimu na kwa sababu labda atalichukua yeye mwenyewe kwa sababu anaona huyu tuko the same level.
Do you know, Mato, when I was in primary, the school I went to, they never allowed anyone kuvaa viatu.
You had to be barefoot?
Yeah. No, ndio usifanane na mwalimu. What do you mean?
Are you serious?
Hiyo ni extreme nayo.
Exactly. And this was because
Osoro make up things because you know me and Mato are never going to go to like this school in Kisumu.
I'm telling you, if you're on Twitter and you went through such an ordeal, just say so that these people from another world can know these things are happening. We were being told. No, we were being told you can't wear. Mtu anaweza vaa kiatu designer na mwalimu amevaa nini kiatu imekula side moja imeisha.
What I remember was
kunyoa. It's like now I say that you guys have to come, you know, just so that
we dress down so that you can.
I you know, it doesn't make it. That doesn't. Wait. So when you go to the school, I'm so sorry, Mato. 1 second. So when you go to the school, right?
Yeah.
So as you're enrolling,
yeah,
they tell you wanafunzi hawavangi viatu kwa shule, and do they give you the reason there, or you find out the reason when
you? No. They will never tell you the reason. But
just find out.
Chini ya maji tu, you'll just know it along the way that you should not be wearing shoes.
So how vai tu viatu?
No, si vai viatu. Never wear shoes in this.
Everybody in Hekima Primary School hawakuwa na nywele. Kila mtu alikuwa ananyoa.
Yeah, those things I also don't understand. The ones for all of us have to shave.
Kila mtu akuwe the same level.
I don't understand those ones. You know, I mean, they used to say it's because we would spend so much time taking care of our hair.
Yeah.
I disagree. I mean, we have time, you know, where you have this time to go to school, this time for preps. See, then you'll make sure that you adhere to the rules. So what do you mean we all shave?
The truth also is now, it's time to also protect the teachers. I don't know what the ministry is going to do, but
a lot has been done towards the children.
Yeah, a lot has been done towards the welfare of the children.
Yes.
You've said no corporal punishment, no nini, that.
Now,
start thinking about teachers.
Yeah, but there's some areas, wanafunzi wako na hasira.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't know what pent-up anger this is.
And this is Kisii High.
Where?
Asijasema kitu. No, me, I didn't say anything.
Ungeavoid hiyo tu.
Ungeavoid. All right, so it's time for us to take another break. We get back. We have more stories at the Trend Live. The hashtag is TTTT. Which story do you want to talk about? Tell us your opinion. We are going to be reading some of your tweets when we get back. Don't go anywhere.
Malkia siku njema na tunukiwa offers kila siku.
Piga *444# utunukiwe Credo double.
Geisha shea butter and honey, made with the goodness of shea butter to moisturize dry skin.
Be strong and last long.
In Kenya, 1 in 2 children suffer from cavities. Brushing with Pepsodent removes bacteria and repairs tiny holes before they become cavities. Because every smile matters.
Kuchukua selfie ni kuchukua control ya future yako. Buy an Oraquick or Insti HIV test kit from your local pharmacy or through MyDawa. Hurry and get yours today at 150 Kenya shillings for a limited period of time. To talk to someone on how to use the test kits or interpret the test results and what to do next, call 1190. Amua kujua. Chukua selfie.
How powerful is the healing power of Vaseline? We applied Vaseline jelly to one leaf, the other we left alone. After just a few days, the difference is visible. Nothing locks in moisture better to keep skin restored. That's the healing power of Vaseline.
I have to admit, I didn't like Sukuma Wiki when I was growing up, but now I've created a way to make Sukuma Wiki tastier and meatier. I simply add 2 Royco beef cubes, and the end result is a rich, meaty flavor. And today, I have brought along my harshest food critics for a taste test. My kids.
More, please!
Royco beef cubes. Add 2 small cubes for a big, meaty taste.
Breaking news from Molfix. Let's see what they're developing right now.
Molfix pants with anatomic fit technology. New Molfix pants, an invention from babies for babies.
You should also try Molfix.
To help fight the spread of coronavirus, learn Lifebuoy's hand washing habits. Wash hands with soap or use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Together, let's help fight the spread of coronavirus in Kenya.
This is NTV.
Tonight, it's bye-bye to by-elections in Nairobi.
I, Anne Kananu Mwenda.
Anne Kananu Mwenda is Nairobi's deputy governor and soon-to-be governor. It was a record time vetting, approval and oath-taking.
This is not Big Bang, this was orchestrated.
Posturing, politics and power play at play in Nairobi. Also tonight, a soldier that acts against the commander-in-chief as Uganda decides. Results have started streaming in and Bobi Wine is not raising a toast.
The election was a complete sham.
The onus is upon candidate Kyagulanyi to show or to prove in what context and how the results are rigged.
Wine claims his home is under military siege. Plus, President Kenyatta's rotational presidency proposal. When your deputy can't stand your stand and won't stand down.
We are not interested in leadership that is arrived at through lottery on ethnicity or clan or other petty issues.
Forget COVID-19 containment, forget sanctity of life, forget the rule of law. Just don't forget to politic. The different faces of Kenya's toxic politics.
Maji mdosi wangu ametupa simu yangu ndani ya maji.
Mdosi wako kwa sawa. Venye Nkirota ameniambia ajui na akimpigia simu ashiki. Hey! Guy! What the?
For the women who deserve more, Moped is now in Kenya and more than 40 countries. With its nylon-free surface, new Moped has unique softness and up to 100% protection. Your skin will love it.
I wish I could have soft and glowing skin.
New Geisha Black Soap with activated charcoal to give you soft and glowing skin. New Geisha Black Soap and New Geisha Moringa.
When they flip and roll and start to crawl away, tape diapers can be hard to put on. Then it's time for all-round fit Pampers pants. Easy to pull on even when they're moving around for a great fit and up to 12 hours of dryness. And easy to remove. Just tear the sides, lift away, roll up the pants and you're all done.
A 2-piece pack now available at only 50 bob.
Hawa ni wa John's family last week. Hawa
Ni hao this week. Kwani kuliendaje? Wa Jones family wali get maximum entertainment for less. Na sahi wako closer than close. Pia familia yako wanaweza kuwa close hivi wakicheki world class international channels that put the quality back in your quality time.
That's what I'm talking about.
Go TV Max itawaleta closer mara that. So, upgrade to Go TV Max for just 890 shillings leo. Go TV. Love it.
At ZTech University, we are committed to excellence. We have adhered to the Ministry of Health COVID-19 guidelines, keeping our students and the learning environment safe. We're back. We're safe. We're learning. ZTech University. Invent your future.
And welcome back. Mato, any tweets that we have? Oh, I'm so sorry.
You know, Amina is like, yeah. You don't have your mic, bruv.
Mato is not using his mic.
Ni kuambushiwa. Haya. Kuna mtu hapa anasema huu mse anatubeba watoto ni aje ati you are never allowed to wear shoes. Wewe kuna watu wamesema
watu wanasema tukupiga ngoto.
You know, I wonder why Kenyans live in which world this is you live in.
Nairobi.
Get out of your comfort. Go know people.
Kuna mwingine anasema I agree with you.
Yeah.
Anasema yes, Squatch, and in our place this was never an issue because many parents could never afford the shoes anyway, which is two different things.
That makes sense. Those are two different stories.
Yes.
You saying you could afford it is just a teacher who was like, "Atunakuja na Balenciaga shule."
The teacher is like, what? No, but it used to happen.
What?
I remember Nani Kingori was telling me when he went to school, there's a time in his life he went to Shags from Embu. Sasa ameenda kwa watoto wengine wa Ushago, and he was the only one who had a pair of shoes. So akaona, I look odd. So he would leave home akiwa ameziva.
That is very different from your story.
But what I was saying is, these things happen.
Just
get out of your space.
Mato and I are very aware that there are Kenyans who are disadvantaged and cannot afford school shoes. We are very aware. Hii yako tu ya mwalimu.
Anasema.
Ndo tulikataa. Hiyo tu ndo tulifanya.
Kuna huyo mmoja anasema mwalimu amesema kitu. When I was in primary school, it was an offense to ride a bicycle even at home. Bicycles belong to teachers and area chief only. Sijui mbona Amina na Mato wanashanga. Atushangai.
This is why I keep telling you guys, get out of your bubble.
But sasa siwezi kuride kwa nyumba kwa nini? Kwani sasa
una ride nini na mwalimu hana? Kwani mwalimu akiwa home ako nayo?
So ukionekana na baiskeli on the weekend, mwalimu on Monday shule anakutandika ama nakunyang'anya.
Let me tell you, you know, when you are in the village, there is no difference between home and school. You exist in the same environment.
That is extreme.
Mwalimu ni mwalimu hata ukiwa home.
Anaweza kukupiga pia kwa hao.
Exactly.
I remember when I was like corporal punishment tuko shule. So mwalimu amesema tusimame hapo mbele tunapigwa ni mao ama ilikuwa ni science.
Yes.
I'm like, excuse me, they said it is illegal. Teachers cannot beat students. Let me tell you, I was beaten. You know, teachers, just like police officers, don't like when students point out how they are informed and they are aware.
Yeah.
They're just like, oh, okay, Ayakuja, let me show you. Come, you're just beaten. You're like, but
the minister.
The minister, oh,
but
the
you know,
minister is your brother.
Just like I was telling you, that this is because then we didn't have any backing.
Okay.
Right now, the parent is supporting the kid. Ati mwalimu amefanya nini? Hebu tuende huko mwalimu atanijua.
That's so true. I remember
back
my dad.
Then ulikuwa unapigwa juu unajua usipopigwa ukienda home utauliwa.
Actually, I remember my dad used to be like, na umempiga kwanza kabla nikuje.
Before we.
Hata ajui ni nini imefanyika. It's like umempiga.
Ashapigwa.
Nitakupiga mbele. And I bet everyone has had a student in their lifetime who was beaten during assembly. I have no idea how that was never me. Because my dad threatened us every day. Nitakupiga hiyo parade utashangaa. All right, now let's talk about this pastor who sexually abused and impregnated two of his daughters and got 140 years in jail. The 51-year-old Akurino pastor John Kishini was convicted on his own plea of guilt. The devil reigning on earth and making people to sin. I sinned, but I'm remorseful and I will be very happy if I'm pardoned. Sorry, it was my first time to commit such a crime in my life. Would you pardon him?
No.
No.
Because it would set a precedence where you do something, then you apologize, and then that's it.
He impregnated them. You do understand?
Ni watoto wake.
And they're two daughters.
I get it.
So you know wanasamanga.
I get it. I know the story.
So you can ask for pardon and be like, oh, you know, once I did. It doesn't make any sense. Anyway, but
and then
a
it's
woman,
moja. It's two of
them.
Mine
is just very different. When I say what I would what I think
you
should happen.
would do.
to people who are involved in these things. So.
Even that solution will not stop the person from being the person.
You knew the solution I'm talking about.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
I have an idea in my head.
It goes all to
I know, especially in India, that is always the way to go.
Yeah.
But ile kitu ilinijaz, I know there's nothing funny, there's nothing pleasant, there's nothing hilarious about this story, but nilibambika sana wakati judge alimsomea scriptures akimhukumu.
Kwa sababu as a pastor, I'm using the same book.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, hiyo kitu ilinifurahisha yangu yote.
Even in
Nisema,
your own-
huyu judge, huyu ni ule judge alikuwa ameandikwa kwa the book of Judges. Kabisa, kabisa.
I'm judging you by the rule of the land and the rule you practice.
This is what you preach. Give me what you preach.
Exactly.
I see. So
Even
this is
what
what
you
it
preach
says.
this.
So kula 70 kwanza hapo hivyo ya mmoja, kula 70 juu ya mwingine. Si ndio unaambiaga watu?
I'm sure sometimes I say, and this is my own personal opinion, I stand to be corrected, that sometimes I start thinking that the people who practice religion, whichever religion it is,
The most pious of
the
them, right?
most of them are the ones who don't believe in it.
It shocks me.
Not really believing in it.
It shocks me.
but
Or practice
they
the complete
practicing it, yes.
opposite.
They use it. They
Yes.
use
You cannot not practice it if you believe it. So if you are telling me I shouldn't do it because you believe in it, then you shouldn't do it yourself.
Because, you know, look at the stories. How many stories do we hear about in, you know, pastors and Catholics and even sheikhs?
Yes.
You know, you hear so many stories. And then the worst part is, you know, parents, family members will hide and cover the story, especially
because this
if
is
it
a man of the
involves-
cloth.
Because you revere him.
Yes.
Right?
They call it social authority. You have raised this person to some level of social standards.
Hata hutaki kuamini, by the way. You put it beyond them.
And then, you know, the worst part is in some, you know, parts of the world, and including even here in Kenya, you are made to marry the perpetrator. Especially like in instances where you fall pregnant and you're heavy with child, and they say, sasa mato itabidi, we discuss
But
family.
you're going to the monster. You're going back to the
I know,
monster
and
to
can
stay
you imagine
there.
how crazy that is for the young girl? How traumatic that is to relive that experience
With your own father.
Imagine, it's the worst. It's the worst possible thing. You know, as a parent, you know, Mato, you're the one who can also talk about this now as a dad. The one person who's supposed to protect you is your parent.
Yes.
And if that one very person who you look to for protection is the one,
is down.
oh man, it just
what's the world then? What's the world
and then you know some of these stories, it happens over time. Like for years he was defiling us. For years he was doing this. Yeah.
And this was not even a story of a bad pastor. It was just a story of a bad person, human being. As a person, you were just.
It was just. That's just terrible. And then you see individuals who are abused often at times when they grow up because of the kind of experiences they went through, they start repeating these things.
Exactly.
So even, you know, and I'm not in any way, shape or form excusing, of course, R. Kelly, but when you read about his history, it repeats itself. This was done unto him, and so now he repeats the same thing. It just breaks my head. All right, so now let's move on to the final story. A 27-year-old Matatu tout cracked up a Nairobi court after he confessed that beer and bang made him admire older women. Wycliffe Alois Orinda made the confession before Milimani Chief Magistrate Martha Mutuku. Ama, is this what Kenyan men take before watuambia Rwanda na Ethiopia madem wao wanaweza? Let's take a look in case you didn't watch this story.
But Fiona nikipata Caroline those are master Iona. When I smoke banga, I smoke cigarette, I drink Senator, those are my sifkunywi nikiwa kasi ama nikiendesha machine Iona. Those are things inakunywa nikifurahia. That's why I like Senator. Nikifuta sigari safari, nasikia niko safarini Iona. Nikikunywa Senator, I feel very happy. Nasikia niko na nguvu Iona.
Uko safari ya kwenda wapi?
Ya kufikisha BBI Iona, mimi nang'ang'ana ndio tupate BBI, nipate Caroline, nipate watoto wawili, tukue na BBI Iona. Hiyo ndio safari yangu. Sing'ang'ani na kitu kingine Iona.
Safari inakupeleka safari ya BBI.
Okay, so now kwa sababu unatambwanga Makuga, what is your excuse? The tout has told us.
Amina,
what he consumes.
I don't know.
Forever.
Amina has been trying to pimp me all these years. Jaribu
Siamini hakuna mtu anakutaka. It's true. I'm kidding.
No, Amina has been here throwing me her age mates. Siwataki.
That's a great comeback. That's a touche.
But anyway, you know, as they say, as Nyash always says, glories to Apia Mungu, lawama shetani na bangi.
That is so true.
This is another case of someone just, you know, something about drugs, it does not make you do it. it just brings what's subdued.
It sort of like
Mahali uko kwa akili
exacerbates
yako.
the feeling of
Exactly.
you wanting to commit that
I know
act.
you want to do it. Just do it.
It's true. You know.
Mimi yangu, I don't know why you're not seeing the bigger picture.
Why do I feel
of
like
this
you're
story.
about to say something?
No,
Very serious?
let me tell you, you're not seeing the bigger picture.
What's the bigger picture?
Influencers should take note. Influencers should take note. Say within that statement of I don't know what 2 minutes,
yeah.
Zile brands alimention hapo. Ningezi list 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, including BBI. Alimention brands. Adi akaeka bank hapo, akaeka pombe flani, akaeka cigar. Alimention brands. Ai, huyu ni influencer mnoma sana.
No, but you know, I wonder though. I mean, when the Most High hears all of these things that when people are like, oh, I thank God. God is like, hey, don't thank me for that.
I mean, I see what you did there. I see.
Don't just go over it like you did
oh,
just say.
Ignore that.
No.
The Most High. But the one thing, oh, she didn't even realize what she did.
I didn't realize I said the Most High.
But the one thing I really admire about this guy is that he's actually sane enough to know that he would not do this in front of his kids, and that he really loves his kids. Mpaka unashindwa. Kwa hivyo watu hukuwa na capacity kwa kichwa yao kufanya the right thing wakijua ni the right thing at the right time. But wana choose to the other direction. No, akiongea kuhusu watoto wanasema huko kwao siendagi nikiwa hivyo. Hata ndio ninawamiss. Hata ndio niko na stress saa hii juu nilinyang'anywa watoto wangu.
But you know what my problem is with such people? When you are aware, you know this is what this thing makes me do.
That's even worse.
You know it. It's not as if when you are going to do it, hauko unajua. You know the way unaingia a club in a bar, but you know in 2 hours, this club will be the most lit club in East Africa.
I know.
Just because of what I'm about to take. You can't start blaming that thing when that happens.
Blame, you know, the people have let me tell you, for everything.
Yes.
Everything. They blame the devil.
Yeah.
Also, I remember this guy who hit me one time, I told you.
Yeah.
And we got into a car accident, and then he said, ni shetani alinifanya.
Ni shetani.
And I'm like, shetani?
Shetani is like, what? Wait, what?
I'm like, what? And he told the cop that he's like, it's the devil that made me do it. And I'm like, I don't understand.
Hiyo nimeisikia by the way sana hata mimi. Lakini umse labda alisikiza. Unajua ule kuna ile kesi ya there's a guy who murdered a couple of people in his family, and then aka blame TV series.
Yes.
Huyu labda ange blame Harikimani. Hiya.
You know what, Mato? Sometimes when I listen to you guys and I'm so keen and attentive, and then you spew.
Amina, you deserve better. Like, honestly, you do deserve better.
I love the fact that you actually gave me the attention and time.
Aspiring TV presenters, if you feel like you have a lot more between your ears than Mato,
I have more ears than between my ears.
We have a show for you. You actually have.
I have a lot more ears than between my ears.
You're the one who said it. I didn't want to say anything, Maskio Pepe,
Yeah.
but it's okay. We compare you to Barack Obama and the likes, right?
Well.
There's some great people out there. There's some great people out there. All right, so now we're about to end the show, and usually they play the music like it's the Grammys because we talk too much. Thank you so much, Macho. Thank you so much, Kwach. Any final comments?
Thanks for everyone who's watching. Happy birthday, Aliwa. Keep doing what you're doing.
Oh, is Aliwa a cougar or no? Someone else. It's a guy. Is it a guy?
Aliwa is a guy.
Okay.
Yes.
One of my great mentors.
It's 2021.
Yeah.
Yes, this is true. Also, Aliwa, happy birthday. And
Aliwa,
also,
happy birthday.
Kenneth Jura, na kusikia na kuona, Mwai na waona. Hapo sawa.
Ilikuwa tu ni ma-shoutout.
Ma-shoutout.
Ni muhimu tu.
All right, so even me, I really have none to shout out, to be honest.
Shout out to your husband and
for
and the gift that you presented to him. Amina, I want to be your husband's friend.
First of all, please. I thought it was going to be like, I want to be your husband.
The bar is too
high. I do.
My wife should see this.
I didn't understand it was going to be a story, but he got a wonderful gift.
Wachana na humility.
Tutacheza nayo PS5 next weekend. Catch us at 10 p.m. We're going to talk all about Jameson and the smooth taste it has. We have a fantastic lineup. Amapiano is all we're going to be vibing to. We have a great show coming up at 10 p.m. right now. The time for the news. My name is Amina Abdirabah. Thank you for watching.
hawa ni wa Jones family last week. Hawa ni hao this week. Kwani kuliendaje? Wa Jones family wali get maximum entertainment for less. Na sahi wako closer than close. Upgrade to GoTV Max for just 890 shillings leo. GoTV. Love it.
Kevin Onyona, who owns the popular Swahili Village restaurants in the US, is back on Daring Abroad after visiting his home village.
The village is fresh, man.
How is he faring amid COVID-19?
We have learned how to adapt.
His views on the transition in the US.
Trump has not been a good president for America.
On Kenya to the World, leather exports by Rift Africa Leather. And on My Magical Kenya,
Kisumu Impala Sanctuary acts as a homage to wildlife.
This Saturday, 7:30 p.m. only on NTV.
Select a plot of value-added land within Garden of Joy gated community off Koma Kennel Road, Machakos. Now kuamue January na 21K with Optiven. Call us now on 0790 300 300.
They recognize that there is no wall that you can build that can keep the enemy away from you if God doesn't keep you safe. And that's a big lesson for us.
I learned that through adversity, people carry you through. My name is Juliana Moirore. I started out with Old Mutual through Sam Wainaina, trying to look at different investment packages, and it's in one of those conversations that he mentioned the critical illness cover. At first I was like, why take a critical illness cover when you have got a medical cover? 2 years down the line, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. It was a numbing experience, scary, and being a single mother, I started thinking about my son. How will I get treated? 2 months since we put in the claim, it came through. It was a journey that was really difficult, the chemo, the surgery, and it's been 5 years, so far so good, so I really thank God. My journey with them made me believe that they have a human face into it. Congratulations to the 175 years, and that you treat others with the same kindness.
Breaking news from Molfix. Let's see what they're developing right now.
Invention from Molfix just for your baby. Molfix pants with anatomic fit technology. New Molfix pants, an invention from babies for babies.
You should also try Molfix.
This is NTV.
A very good evening to you. Thanks so much for joining us on NTV Weekend Edition this Friday night. I'm Smriti Vidyathi, and these are among the top stories.
Tonight, it's bye-bye to by-elections in Nairobi.
I, Anne Kananu Mwenda.
Anne Kananu Mwenda is Nairobi's deputy governor and soon-to-be governor. It was a record time vetting, approval and oath-taking.
This is not Big Bang, this was orchestrated.
Posturing, politics and power play at play in Nairobi. Also tonight, a soldier that acts against the commander-in-chief as Uganda decides. Results have started streaming in and Bobi Wine is not raising a toast.
The election was a complete sham.
The onus is upon candidate Kyagulanyi to show or to prove in what context and how the results are rigged.
Wine claims his home is under military siege. Plus, President Kenyatta's rotational presidency proposal. When your deputy can't stand your stand and won't stand down.
We are not interested in leadership that is arrived at through lottery on ethnicity or clan or other petty issues.
Forget COVID-19 containment, forget sanctity of life, forget the rule of law. Just don't forget to politic. The different faces of Kenya's toxic politics. Plus,
this situation is horrible. It's ugly.
Mandera governor decries government's dismissal of Al-Shabaab threat and hold.
More than 50% of this county's roads are under the control of Al-Shabaab.
Return to school is proving a nightmare.
This is Weekend Edition with Smriti Vidyarthi.
And joining us in sign language interpretation tonight is David Agondoa. To our top story, and Anne Kananu Mwenda, who was vetted, approved and sworn in as the Deputy Governor of Nairobi County in a record 5 hours, is set to be enthroned as Governor of the capital city when the 60 days term of acting city boss Benson Mutura expires. Her expeditious rise to power has drawn mixed reactions, with some terming it an illegality, even as she vowed to cooperate with the Nairobi Metropolitan Services boss, Mohamed Badi. NTV's Seth Olale followed the dramatic sessions from the City-County Assembly to the Kenyatta International Convention Centre, where the inauguration hurriedly took place.
I was nominated through merit.
Anne Kananu Mwenda's 5-hour rise to power commenced after the High Court threw out cases challenging her nomination as Deputy Governor, paving way for the vetting process.
How are you going to deal with that?
The Nairobi County Assembly's Select Committee on Appointments swiftly interrogated the former Nairobi Disaster Management and Coordination Chief Officer in less than an hour, approving her nomination for the position after the House Clerk, Edward Gishana, confirmed there was no court order stopping the vetting.
We have a small legislative affair that we need to deal with so that we are able to support and work with NMS.
The Nairobi ward representatives then swiftly approved Anne Mwenda's nomination by impeached Governor Mike Sonko for the position of Deputy Governor by accepting a report from the vetting committee through a session that lasted half an hour. The criminology and security management expert was then dramatically hurried to the Kenyatta International Convention Centre, just a few meters from the county assembly, to be sworn in
I, Anne Kananu Mwenda,
as the capital's third deputy governor before 2 p.m. in accordance with the law.
Together we will work round the clock and go that extra mile to ensure that the expectations of Nairobians are not only met, but exceeded.
Kananu's expeditious enthronement has drawn mixed reactions, with critics terming it an illegality, while some stating that it was a necessary move to fix the city's mismanagement.
Vetting committee and the Nairobi County Assembly have merely been used as rubber stamps, curious enablers of an illegitimate process.
There's this cute little animal in law we call status quo remains.
So by Monday, by the time we're going to court, status quo will be Anne Kananu is Deputy Governor Nairobi, and that is done and dusted.
The newly sworn-in Deputy Governor promised to deliver the much-needed services for Nairobi residents.
Not bad for a lady, but I'm hoping we see some changes.
As long as ni mtu akona rekodi mzuri ya kazi, we don't mind. Cha muhimu chenye tunataka Nairobi ni mtu mwenye akona bidii, mwenye atajua maslahi ya watu wa chini ama yeyote mwenye anajua maslahi ya mwananchi wa kawaida.
Analysts observe that Kananu will eventually be sworn in as governor at the expiry of the 60 days duration by acting Governor Benson Mutura.
IBC will be compelled to retract by way of now having in place gazetting, degazetting the initially gazetted and intended by-election for Nairobi.
This was orchestrated. But like I said earlier, with what we saw in Msambweni, I think nobody is keen on having a by-election in Nairobi if they're not certain that they know the outcome.
The former chief officer at the Nairobi County Government Disaster Management Department becomes the second deputy governor following the resignation of Polycarp Igathe on January 12, 2018, since the 2017 general elections. Seth Olale, NTV at the KICC Gardens, Nairobi County.
All right, from the capital city, we cross the borders now, and we've been following the elections and the developments in our neighboring country, Uganda. And we've been getting the updates from our colleagues at NTV Uganda, despite the internet blackout in that country. We're now joined by NTV Uganda's news anchor, Andrew Chamagero, who's at the National Tally Centre at Chambogo in the capital, Kampala, for a quick update of the tallying. Andrew, thanks very much for joining us. At this point, what do the numbers look like, and what is the mood like around the tallying centre?
Well, thank you so much, Samriti. Well, where we're coming from, it's the Tally Centre, and in just a few minutes from now, we'll be having what I can dub as the fourth provisional declaration from the chairperson of the Electoral Commission. Currently, where we're standing, these are the numbers. We have 18.1 million voters in Uganda, but of these total ballots that have been counted so far, we have 5,125,703. We have the valid votes that were cast. It is 4,928,118. And the rejected, or call them the invalid votes, 197,587. Now, the total polling station from the National Register is 34,684. But so far, those that have been declared, we're having 17,042. Currently, this is how we stand. Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, who is the incumbent as well, is having a 3,091,725 votes, and that brings him to 62.74% of the votes. Then Chagulanyi Sentam has 1,445,805, bringing him to 29.34%. Amoriat Oboy Patrick has 202,605. That brings him to 4.11%. And then we have the other one is Norbert Mao, who happens to be having 39,339. And this brings him to 0.8%. Mugisha Muntu Greg has 32,339, and bringing him to a percentage of 0.66%. And then Tumukunde has 28,098, bringing him to 0.57. Then we have Kabaleta Joseph Kisa. He has 25,378 as of now, bringing him to 0.51%. Then we have Nancy Kalembe Linda, has 22,182, bringing her to 0.45%. And then we have Katumba John at 17,770, bringing him to 0.36%. And we have Mwesi Jeffrey with 13,634, and That brings him to 0.28. And lastly is Mayambala with a 9,243 with a percentage of a 0.19. Well, earlier on, there were a lot of allegations. The mood that is on at the Tally Center, well, just to bring you to speed, everyone is calm as we're waiting for the numbers and figures that the tallies as and when they come through. But security is very key here, not only where we are at the Tally Center, but even the roads that bring people to this location. It's only by those who are validated and they were really scrutinized and they followed the SOPs of COVID-19 and they were checked and they're negative. Where we are, it's not a usual Tally Center comparing to the other elections we've had. And there is something that came into context. There was a question about how do the other candidates get to know how these numbers leave the district level to the Tally Center. But well, the Electoral Commission earlier on, the chairperson made it much more eloquent that, look, we have a section of political parties where we told them to either send their agents or come themselves and witness how the process is running. So far, we've had one presidential candidate, and that is William Mayambala, who has been here since last night. He has followed up the process, and I had a conversation earlier with him, and he said he's very satisfied with how the situation is going. So the mood is calm where we are. We're just waiting for tomorrow because legally, they should announce the winners tomorrow before 4 p.m. according to the law. And the Electoral Commission spokesperson Bukenya Paul earlier alluded to the fact that before 4 p.m. Uganda and the rest of the world will know who the president will be, and some of the MPs that have been elected, they're already announced at the district level, but here it's entirely about the presidency. Now, there was an issue earlier on when we had, I think, the fourth provisional declaration, where there were reports that Honorable Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, who happens to be in very close ties with Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, that his home was surrounded by security operatives. When we talked to the deputy spokesperson, rather the spokesperson of the UPDF, Dewa Kiki made it clear that beefing up security at Bobi Wine's home, it's a job of the joint operation from the security agencies. And he made it much more clear that there were incidences of three people who jumped over Bobi Wine's perimeter wall, and two managed to escape, and one was detained at Kasangati police station. So they said the reason why the security at his home was beefed up, it was entirely for his security. And this, according to the UPDF, does not only go to Bobi Wine alone, but to all the other candidates are still in the race.
All right, Andrew Chamagero coming to us live from the National Tally Center there in Kampala. Thanks very much for that update. As Andrew said, currently in the lead is the incumbent President Yoweri Museveni at 3 million votes, and that accounts for 62.7%. And we will bring you more details as and when we get them. That is the latest from Uganda. Back home now, the governor of Mandera County, Ali Roba, says safety concerns have affected the reopening of schools. Roba wants the government to beef up security to allow students to resume learning, saying that more than 100 schools are still shut due to a lack of teachers.
Mandera Governor Ali Roba says fear of Al-Shabaab attacks have contributed to the low numbers of pupils who've resumed school.
I, as the governor of Mandera County, not any other ordinary person mandated to run the affairs of this county, do categorically and authoritatively state that more than 50% of this county's roads are under the control of Al-Shabaab.
The governor says Al-Shabaab is operating in the county unhindered.
Al-Shabaab is having unrestricted access into the interior. What is it that we are doing wrong if we have all these personnel in this county? You know, I should be able to say, sijapewa support as a county. Nimepewa every support. But the management of security in the county, at the regional level and at the county level, has an issue.
Governor Roba made a passionate appeal to the government to intervene and address insecurity so that more schools can reopen and more learners can return to the classroom.
Where do I keep quiet? If out of 295 schools, primary schools, 129 are literally not open. How do I keep quiet when no private sector investment is happening in Mandera? The only source of employment is the county government because of insecurity.
Elsewhere, Deputy President William Ruto has rejected the idea of rotational and selective elections, saying that leaders should be elected into office on grounds of their development agenda and not their ethnicity. Ruto, who was replying to President Uhuru Kenyatta's sentiments a week ago that it was time for a different tribe to lead the country, also condemned what he termed as intimidation tactics by different government agencies to bar his 2022 presidential ambition. NTV's Melita Oletenges reports.
President Uhuru Kenyatta's utterances last week that it is time for a different tribe to lead the country has provoked heated debate. The latest voice to join in is that of Deputy President William Ruto.
Sisi tunataka kuambia wale wanatuambia mambo ya rotational presidency, ama rotational leadership, ama rotational governor, ama rotational MPs, ama rotational MCAs. Tunataka tuwaambie we are not interested in leadership that is arrived at through lottery on ethnicity or clan or other petty issues.
Ruto, who was in Bomet County to commission projects and attend fundraisers for different groups, also condemned what he termed as intimidation tactics by the government through different agencies aimed at frustrating his presidential ambition.
Hatuwezi kukubali eti nyinyi mutatushurutisha na kutulazimisha eti ya kwamba tusipofanya yale mnataka nyinyi eti mutatufanyia hii, ati mutatufunga, ati mutatupeleka kotini, ati mutalete DCI, ati mutalete EACC, ati mutalete KRA. Mimi nataka niwaambie na niwapatie ilani ya mapema. Hatuwezi kurudi nyuma.
Last week, President Uhuru Kenyatta and ODM leader Raila Odinga, in a veiled attack on Ruto and his allies, said the hustlers narrative being pushed by the Tanga Tanga team is to blackmail Kenyans and that it was time for a different tribe to rule the country.
Kama kwa ukweli wale ambao waliongea kama unachoka na familia hii, unachoka na familia hii, sasa ni nafasi sijui ya nani, basi kama hiyo ndio thinking ama logic, hata mimi naweza nisimame hapa basi niseme kuna jamii tu mbili za Kenya ambazo zimetawala, labda ni nafasi ya jamii nyingine pia kutawala.
So it is possible to come from nothing and be something. Kwa nini naambiwa ati mimi hasa mimi nitoka kwa ufukara? Hiyo ni nini? Takataka.
President Kenyatta went ahead to address naysayers, reminding them he was still in control.
Sisi ni wana demokrasia. We believe in democracy. Watu wapiga ile wanataka kupiga waandike ile mabarua wanataka kuandika. I am in charge of this government and I am in control of what we are doing.
What seems to be clearly off control now is the relationship between the president and his deputy. Melita Oletenges, NTV.
All right, that story takes us to our first break on NTV Weekend Edition. Do stay with us. There's more coming up in just a moment.
Helen Paul.
Hello, madam. Would you like to join us on this mission?
Yes, but how?
Just one question for you. How do you keep your toilet clean?
I use regular detergent and bleach for washing and removing yellow stains. I've been using it for years.
Oh, madam, the regular detergents and bleach are used for washing clothes. To disinfect your toilet properly, you need Harpic 10X. It is specially made for germs and stains removal. Harpic's thick formula settles on stains and gives 10 times better cleaning compared to regular detergents and bleach.
Wow, now I'm convinced, Helen Paul.
Really?
Yeah.
Now that she's part of the mission, the next house is yours.
Disinfect and protect your home with Jik. Jik kills 99.9% of illness-causing germs. Disinfect floors, kitchen and bathroom surfaces, and wash white clothes, towels and dishcloths with Jik bleach. Just Jik it.
Huyu ni Miriam. Last week, hakakujua kanataka kuwa nini kaki grow up. Lakini this week, Miriam amegundua anaweza kuwa whatever she wants. Kwani kuliendaje? Maparo wa Miriam waligeta huge discount vile wale upgrade to Go TV Max. Hata wewe, familia yako wanaweza get maximum entertainment for less. Na channel kibao za fun and educational shows za wakidi. Your little one's imaginations will run wild. So, upgrade to Go TV Max for just 890 shillings leo. Go TV. Love it.
Welcome to our new office. Wonderful sight. Just imagine 1, 2, 3, 4. This is where the parking is, and then the warehouse front door here, the reception here, and the fridges here. The lorry's entrance there, and their exit there. One way only. What is it?
So where is the building?
Fast, stress-free construction. Get your factory-made buildings in 10 weeks with SafBuild. Order yours now. SafBuild, a quality building solution from MRM.
Kevin Onyona, who owns the popular Swahili Village restaurants in the US, is back on Daring Abroad after visiting his home village.
The village is fresh, man.
How is he faring amid COVID-19?
We have learned how to adapt.
His views on the transition in the US.
Trump has not been a good president for America.
On Kenya to the World, leather exports by Rift Africa Leather. And on My Magical Kenya,
Kisumu Impala Sanctuary acts as a homage to wildlife.
This Saturday, 7:30 p.m. only on NTV.
Select a plot of value-added land within Garden of Joy gated community off Koma Kennel Road, Machakos. Now kuamue January na 21K with Optiven. Call us now on 0790 300 300.
Welcome back to the broadcast, and just a quick correction, our sign language interpreter tonight is Flora Atieno, not David Agondoa. Let's take you back to Uganda now, and Ugandan opposition leader Bobi Wine on Friday claimed victory in presidential elections as he rejected the early results, terming them a, quote, complete sham. He, however, did not substantiate his claims and has been called upon by the Electoral Commission to do so. The early results showed President Yoweri Museveni in the lead by about 65% and Bobi with 27.6%. Anita Nkonge with the latest.
38-year-old musician turned politician Robert Chagurani, alias Bobi Wine, took to social media, bypassing the state-sanctioned internet blackout, claiming that the Ugandan military had broken into his compound and taken control of his home. The security agencies, however, dispute his claims.
Deployment of securities for the provision of security of Ugandans, their property, and protection of this country. So we shall continue to give security to all the candidates who are not yet presidents, and we shall continue to give security to all Ugandans.
Bobi Wine was not toasting to the status of the polls and the results, but did not substantiate his claims.
General Museveni, aided by Mr. Byabakama, the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, other state institutions, and shamelessly, some media houses are trying yet again to usurp the will of the people of Uganda. But Mr. Museveni is deliberately trying to paint a picture that he is in the lead. What a joke.
So we say the burden is upon him who asserts the existence of certain facts. So it is the onus is upon candidate Kyagulanyi to show or to prove in what context and how the results are rigged.
The commission went on further to say that the lack of internet connection was not disrupting the transmission of results. As at Friday 7 p.m., just above a third of the votes had been tallied and results released, with full results expected by Saturday afternoon. The internet has remained down for yet another day and counting.
What's wrong with you?
But the dramatic situation is not only at the presidential candidates' podiums. A Uganda People's Defense Force soldier has been arrested in Busia after he grabbed a declaration of results forms from an NRM agent and allegedly destroyed them. Amid the drama, there was celebration at different places as some candidates who vied for other seats had their victories confirmed.
My opponent, who came second, this is
Kamba did not have any message for the people. His role was to dance for the people. My people don't want a dancer. My people want a spokesperson who can speak for them. My people want a performer who can work for them.
The count continues, and so does the wait, amid concerns of legitimacy of the vote. Anita Nkonge, NTV.
All right, back home now. As the political heat increases here, with toxicity in tow, as has been witnessed, the obedience of the rule of law and observance of COVID-19 containment rules is being trampled underfoot by the growing crowds that are coming out to play audience to political leaders. Now have a look at this. Deputy President William Ruto and his allies, the group known as Tanga Tanga and now United Democratic Alliance Party, were in Bomet County, where the DP was launching various development programs. But one of the developments was the refreshed cases of crowd gathering under the watch and authority of leaders who had been advocating against it and against the law that has repeatedly been reiterated. Well, this trend of actions has raised the skepticism among Kenyans of the reality of the pandemic, as well as the falling credibility of the government. The COVID containment rules have repeatedly been implemented selectively, with common wananchi being arrested, beaten, charged, and tragically even killed, while the who is who, as you can see here, get away with it. In some cases, some would say they get away with murder. Absolutely disgraceful. No social distancing there, and no, or rather very little mask wearing, with authorities in full sight leading that crowd. And here's the reality. Let's take you to the COVID cases in the country right now. 166 more people have tested positive for the coronavirus out of a sample size of 7,077 tested in the last 24 hours. And this raises the total number of infections to 98,859. Now, out of the new cases, 146 are Kenyans and 20 are foreigners. 100 are male and 66 are female. 3 more people have succumbed to the virus, which brings the total death toll to 1,726. 29 patients are in ICU. Meanwhile, though, 262 people have recovered, and that brings the total number of recoveries to 82,195. In the counties, there are 115 new infections here in Nairobi, 10 in Kiambu, 6 in Mombasa, 4 in Nakuru, and 3 in Busia and Machakos counties. And to the coast now, doctors in Mombasa have called off their strike. This follows a 1-month-long industrial action which had crippled health services in the county. The doctors have signed a return-to-work formula with the county government after securing a deal that addressed their grievances. NTV's Kevin Mutai also reports that the county government blames the National Treasury for the delay in disbursement of funds, which it says has contributed to the stalemate with the healthcare workers.
For several weeks now, public hospitals in Mombasa remained deserted with only emergency services and COVID-19 patients being attended to. Over 200 doctors participated in the industrial action that saw 86 of them being dismissed while agitating for the return to work formula deal.
It ends here. We will require you to report back to work immediately, where immediately means now, and where now means right now. And to our patients that we probably walked out on you, we can never offer enough apologies.
The pronouncement has ended a stalemate that crushed the health system amid a ravaging pandemic as doctors stayed away from public facilities. Doctors from the private sector had also threatened to join their colleagues in solidarity.
The doctors have been reinstated. The issue of the statutory reductions has also been sorted out, and the promotions have also been effected.
The county government and the doctors' union KMPDU have both agreed to settle their scores and avert such kind of eventualities in future.
Any other person who might have thought that they will use our struggle for any other inclination of political earnings You had probably mistaken the room and you need to look for a new one. Ours was tunnel visioned, what we just wanted. Not political, not personal.
We do expect that National Treasury will ensure that counties' disbursements are made in good time so that counties will be able to meet some of these expenditures.
Even as the doctors return to work, nurses and clinical officers are still on strike, negotiating for their package, with the county government displaying the will of addressing their grievances. Kevin Mutai, NTV, Mombasa.
Help.
Now, a family in Nakuru County is seeking answers over the death of their son after he was found unconscious in his dormitory hours after reporting to school. Abdullahi Mohammed died on Thursday evening at a Nakuru hospital. His family say he appeared fine when leaving home. Bridget Ngana has more details.
Abdullahi Mohammed's body leaves the Kambi Somali Mosque for the Muslim cemetery in Nakuru's Bondeni estate. For his family, the past 3 days have been a nightmare of sorts. He left home on Monday, eager to join his colleagues as a boarder at the City Mission Secondary School, only for his sister to be informed that the Form 1 student was unconscious and unresponsive.
Walikuja nyumbani wanafunzi wawili wakaniambia mwalimu anasema kijana ako mgonjwa, kuja haraka. Nikaamua kuchukua anti yangu tukaenda naye kwa shule. Vile tulifika shule hivi mwalimu na huyo head boy tulienda naye paka kwa dom. Vile tulifika kwa dom tulipata kijana kama hapumui, haongei, hakukuwa na fahamu yoyote kabisa hata kidogo. Nikauliza mwalimu vipi ilikuwa jana? Akasema yeye jana hakukuwa. Head boy ndio alikuwa. Unaweza uliza head boy vile ilitendeka, ili happen jana. Head boy alisema huyu kijana alisema anaumwa na kichwa na alianza kutapika. Na baada ya hapo, baada ya saa 10 alianza kupoteza fahamu.
That began the rush to save his life. Mohammed had a brain surgery after a scan established that he had a head injury. But by Thursday evening, his health deteriorated and he died. NTV has seen a copy of the post-mortem report carried out on the 16-year-old, which indicates that Mohammed's cause of death was an epidural hematoma, or bleeding in the brain from a massive blunt force trauma to the head, causing severe head injury.
The second home of the child is the school. From what we have seen, there was total negligence. Total negligence on the part of the management, on the part of the principal, or the administrators.
We were preventing corona for 9 months. He was safe, healthy, only to die 12 hours after going to school to get injured, and they're not explaining. So we went to school to come clean. We went there, it's in a deplorable state. We have even reported to the Minister of Education in Nakuru. We just want justice.
Education officials have allegedly told the family they are investigating the incident. Our attempts to get further information from the County Director for Education, however, did not yield much. Only a confirmation that the matter was under investigation by the Nakuru East Sub-County Director of Education. After his burial, Mohammed's family staged a peaceful march to the City Mission Secondary School, desperately seeking answers over the death of their son. Bridget Ngana, NTV.
And condolences to the family. All right, at this point, another breather on NTV Weekend Edition. Let's take a quick one as Dan Mwangi will be up next with the day's business news.
Disinfect and protect your home with Jik. Jik kills 99.9% of illness-causing germs. Disinfect floors, kitchen and bathroom surfaces, and wash white clothes, towels and dishcloths with Jik bleach. Just Jik it.
Kuchukua selfie ni kuchukua control ya future yako. Buy an Oraquick or Insti HIV test kit from your local pharmacy or through MyDawa. Hurry and get yours today at 150 Kenya shillings for a limited period of time. To talk to someone on how to use the test kits or interpret the test results and what to do next, call 1190. Amua kujua. Chukua selfie.
Good evening and welcome to NTV Business. I'm Dan Mwangi. Now, had the green light for the 33 billion shillings debt relief from the Paris Club received earlier this week delayed by just 3 days, it would have coincided perfectly with Ukur Yatani's anniversary, marking 1 year since he was confirmed as a substantive cabinet secretary for the National Treasury and Planning. From the tax laws amendment in early 2020 to the debt relief now being sought, Ukur Yatani's first full year has been eventful. Julian Samboko with the details.
Ukur Yatani's first full year as Kenya's National Treasury Cabinet Secretary has been dominated by firefighting the COVID-19 crisis. Kenya's first patient was identified on March 13, 2020, just 2 months after Yatani's confirmation. The former one-term governor says it was a day that forever changed the course of his leadership at the ministry.
You know, in the past, when the problem was in China and there was some talk about it, not many people took a lot of interest in it. And if it happened, they thought this is a foreign kind of, challenge that we never thought it was going to come to Kenya and that early. As soon as it came here, the same day we started having not only the health indicators that are going wrong, but also the economic indicators.
Unlike his predecessors, whose main focus upon assuming office has traditionally been the June budget, Yatani's entry was the first Tax Laws Amendment Act of 2020, through which COVID-19 relief measures were adopted, including a waiver of income tax on any persons earning 24,000 shillings and below. CS Yatani has stewarded the fiscal stimulus package adopted under the COVID-19 relief, which currently stands at 94 billion shillings, divided into 2 tranches, an initial 40.9 billion shillings chunk and another 53 billion. The CS says a key score has been the scaling up of cash transfers.
The number of the traditional cash transfer moved from about 200,000 to 1.3 million families, where they're getting 2,000 shillings at the end of every month. And these are basically the elderly, the severely disabled and orphan families.
Yatani's maiden budget on June 13, 2020 was not just big in size, but also on promises. The CS pledged to rein in the pending bills burden that has been weighing heavily on the country, even putting out conscience-breaking appeals even before he was confirmed as CS.
Any sensible leader, any sensible manager, when you have asked somebody to paint your house, when you have asked somebody to provide you with food, and you fail to pay, what happens? Meaning you are crushing the aspiration jobs and the livelihood of that person. People are occupying those offices courtesy of the public. If you are now robbing the public by taking away the things that are refusing to pay, sometimes for over 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, or even more, then government has a moral duty and obligation to step in.
Months later, many bills remain unsettled, lives and livelihoods thrown off balance as contractors continue to decry delayed payment by the government.
Going forward, the National Treasury may withhold exchequer releases to the MDS or SAGAs with pending bills until an approved payment plan for all pending bills is agreed upon.
The former district officer has also had to eat the humble pie on behalf of the government as far as flip-flopping on whether Kenya will take up debt relief is concerned. What started in early 2020 as a refusal to take up debt relief packages has ended up in a U-turn as the country faces significant strain on its resource envelope amid the government's effort to put up a brave face amid echoes in the Treasury's coffers.
For our own situation, we are not very certain yet whether we are going to go for it, because the accompanying conditions are a bit tough.
This stance quickly changed as the country's tax revenue fell below target, and it was clear that the government needed breathing space to fund its spending plan. As CS Okuritani now embarks on his second year at the Treasury, Kenya's vulnerability to debt distress is almost guaranteed to dominate policy formulation. Julian's Amboko, NTV.
What a year for him. Now, contrary to expectations of a drop in diaspora remittances due to the adverse effects of COVID-19, Kenyans abroad actually sent home more money last year than they did in the year 2019. In a statement released on Friday, the Central Bank of Kenya says remittance inflows into Kenya increased by 10.7% to 309.4 billion shillings, supported by financial innovations that provided Kenyans in the diaspora more convenient channels for their transactions. In December alone, remittances reached a historical peak of 29.9 billion shillings, and the World Bank had projected a sharp decline of about 23% in remittances to sub-Saharan countries, including Kenya. Businesses in the education sector in Kenya and abroad will take a long time to recover following the COVID-19 pandemic, which disrupted activity for the better part of 2020. This is according to the 2020 Human Development Report published by the United Nations Development Programme, which finds that at the peak of COVID-19-induced lockdowns, more than 160 countries had mandated some form of school closures, affecting at least 1.5 billion children. Alex Mwangi takes us to that class.
Majority of economic sectors took a hit when COVID-19 struck, some more severely than others. Educational institutions were among those that were heavily hit.
At the height of COVID-19 lockdown, more than 160 countries had mandated some form of school closures, affecting at least 1.5 billion children and youth, and Kenya was not an exception. As noted by the World Bank, COVID-19's effects on education could be felt for decades to come, not just causing a loss of learning in the short term, but also diminishing economic opportunities for this generation of students over the long term.
Students are likely to catch up on the time lost in terms of learning, but there is a bigger cost associated with the hiccups in the economic system that the pandemic has caused on the global economy.
Due to these learning losses and increases in dropout rates, this generation of students stand to lose an estimated $10 trillion in earnings, or almost 10% of global GDP.
In Africa, the need to lean more on science has never been more necessary.
In Africa, there is always a tendency, when we are faced with challenges, we don't go to science, we go to prayers. When we have got climate change challenges, instead of going back to science and asking ourselves hard questions about how we have tackled the environment, we have groups of elders everywhere in the continent going to pray to God to face those particular challenges. And I'm not demeaning religion.
The COVID-19 pandemic led to a massive shock of the global economy, causing the deepest recession since the Second World War. The arduous task of recovery is now in top gear. Humans, however, face multifaceted challenges which need a concerted effort to adequately address.
The planet's biodiversity is in crisis. Almost 70% of wildlife may have been lost since 1970. Many believe we are at the beginning of a mass extinction event, the sixth in the history of the planet, and the first to be caused by a single organism, us, human beings.
Given the prevailing circumstances facing humans, it is critical for economic growth to be paired with environmental protection and sustainable development. Alex Mwangi, NTV.
A year after the National Treasury published the Coffee Cherry Revolving Fund regulations allowing farmers to tap into the 3 billion shillings kitty, the Ministry of Agriculture has directed cooperatives commissioners to disband coffee society committees which refused to approve loans for farmers. Agriculture CS Peter Munya says the society committees have been declining to approve cherry fund loans so as to compel farmers to borrow loans with high interest rates from alternative sources. The cherry revolving fund is designed such that farmers are charged 3% of the total amount they borrow from the cherry revolving fund as administration fee, making it a competitive source of credit.
Kwa sababu maloni ile ingine inapitia huko, ingine inakatwa kabla ifikie yule anaombewa. Sasa kwa sababu hii tuliona itapotea kama hizo zingine zinapotea. Kila mahali tukienda serikali inaambiwa forgive loans kwa society. Sikifungiwa tukikaa miaka ingine mbili, zingine zimekuja, zinatoka wapi? Kwa hivyo tukaona hii tukipeleka kwa society itaenda hivyo hivyo na tutaweza na tunataka pesa hii ikae ndio iombwe next year, iombwe na watoto wetu, iendelee kukaa. Hataki ishe because it's a revolving fund. Ni pesa ya kutumia sasa na itumiwe mwaka ijayo, miaka ingine 10 na miaka ingine hata 100.
And that's it. And you know, in Kikuyu, Munya means uproot or remove. So I guess it's time for me to be Munywad from studio. I'm done, and so is business. Good night.
Do your gums hurt? Yeah. Does your toothpaste contain sage, eucalyptus, myrrh, chamomile? All that in one toothpaste? Yes, try Colgate Herbal. Colgate Herbal contains nature's best herbs and Colgate's fluoride technology to give you strong teeth and healthy gums. Ah, Colgate Herbal. Let's go. Colgate Herbal for strong teeth and healthy gums naturally.
Maji mdosi wangu ametupa simu yangu ndani ya maji.
Mdosi wako kwa sawa. Venye Nkirota ameniambia ajui na akimpigia simu ashiki. Hi, guy, what the?
For the women who deserve more, Moped is now in Kenya and more than 40 countries. With its nylon-free surface, new Moped has unique softness and up to 100% protection. Your skin will love it.
Welcome back. A pastor from Sokoke Ward in Kilifi County is advocating for polygamous marriage and wife inheritance to stem adultery and community curses. Well, it is a move that has elicited mixed reactions among Kenyans, with some saying it is the best thing to do, while others saying it's a no-no. Fatima Bugu has more.
Katika tamaduni zetu, kurithi mwanamke ama kurithi jamii kwa sababu jambo hili linakuja kwa sababu mpatwa na msiba, ndugu yako ameaga dunia. Ni vizuri sana kuchukua. Lakini kitu ambacho hatufanyi kama wale wazee wa zamani ni kwamba mara nyingi tunachukua huyu bibi akiwa na watoto wasichana. Huyu mwanamke ndio utamwandama sana. Wale wasichana wakiolewa unapotea kwa hilo boma. Jambo hili ni jambo ambalo ni baya sana.
Reverend Samson Kahindi believes polygamy and wife inheritance can help restore dignity within societies, but many strongly disagree.
Kama kuna pesa, kuna uwezo wako wanaweza wakimu vizuri malazi, kula, masomo ya watoto. Wacha sawa awe, lakini asiwe bibi 10 alafu baadaye aanze kuwatesa. Sitoshe kwanza bibi hata kubali mwenzake siku zote. Ni mwanaume ndo ile kifua chake lazima nioe, lakini una uwezo.
Siwezi kubali. Sababu kama aliamua kunioa inamaanisha namtosha. So mwingine ni wa nini? Maybe kama siwezi zaa lakini kama anaweza kila kitu haina haja.
Ndio mwanamume anaweza kuoa mwanamke zaidi ya mmoja, wa pili, wa tatu na wa nne kulingana na kama ataweza kufanya sheria ya uhaki.
The Reverend argues that wife inheritance is permitted both in the Mijikenda culture and in the Bible, but with strict guidelines in both instances.
Inaleta sura mbaya kwamba kuonesha toka ndugu yako ni
ni mzima ulikuwa bado unamtamani, ulikuwa tayari pengine unamtamani.
I don't encourage that because the wife has to decide personally whether she wants to get married after the death of the husband.
About a quarter of the world's nations, predominantly conservative male-dominated communities in Africa and Muslim-majority countries, practice polygamy as part of the traditional or religious customs. Fatma Bugu, NTV, Mombasa County.
Now, the Nation Media Group is celebrating a milestone as 200,000 people across Africa have subscribed to its digital platform, that's nation.africa. This is a critical milestone for the new portal that was launched in August 2020. The platform seeks to advance the company from being East Africa's largest media house to Africa's leading content provider, a center of technological innovation and customer excellence. The Media House is calling on you, if you are yet to join the platform, to make that move and enjoy quality journalism and other valuable content. If you are already part of it, recruit more people to enjoy the diverse products.
And we are committed that nation journalism bears critical elements in how the story of Africa should be told to Africans, to people in Africa, and to people anywhere in the world who are interested in Africa, but also tell the story of the world to that same audience.
At this point, another break. I'll be back with the sports news.
Reno vegetable oil stays liquid to the last drop, so it's smooth cooking from start to finish. Now with an easy-to-pour cap, mapishi poa, madishi poa.
Breaking news from Molfix. Let's see what they're developing right now.
Pants is just for me. It really feels very comfy.
Molfix pants with anatomic fit technology. New Molfix pants, an invention from babies for babies.
You should also try Molfix.
Kevin Onyona, who owns the popular Swahili Village restaurant in the US, is back on Daring Abroad after visiting his home village.
The village is fresh, man.
How is he faring amid COVID-19?
We have learned how to adapt.
His views on the transition in the US.
Trump has not been a good president for America.
On Kenya to the World, leather exports by Rift Africa Leather. And on My Magical Kenya,
Kisumu Impala Sanctuary acts as a homage to wildlife.
This Saturday, 7:30 p.m. only on NTV.
Select a plot of value-added land within Garden of Joy gated community off Koma Kennel Road, Machakos. Now kwamue January na 21K with Optiven. Call us now on 0790 300 300.
Welcome to the sports news. The national women's rugby team looks ahead to this year's Tokyo Olympics and hopes to use 2 pre-tournaments in France and Spain as preparation. The Kenya Lionesses have been training at the RFUEA grounds in Nairobi and will be up against heavyweights such as Olympic and World Series champions New Zealand as well as Australia in the build-up tournaments. The team had a dismal showing at the 2016 Rio Games, finishing bottom of a tough group that saw them lose all 4 preliminary matches against New Zealand, France and Spain before finishing 11th overall.
Good hits, good hits, good hits. What is your target for the Tokyo Olympics?
I want a top 5 finish. If it goes to the worst, top 8. An improvement from the last Olympics.
Going to Olympics, it would be a big thing for us like the other time, because we are now, our mindset, we are ready, like we want to compete. We want to go there and show people that we didn't just qualify for the sake of qualifying, but we want to show also the world that Kenya Lionesses is a team to watch in the years to come.
National Gun Owners Association NGAO Kenya has started early preparations ahead of the Africa Championship, which will be held in Kenya for the first time in September this year. The championship was to be held last September but was postponed due to the effects of the coronavirus pandemic.
Hii ambayo inakuja kufanyika sasa hivi kwenye Septemba, inafaa tuwe na safety officers zaidi ya 40, kama kitu 70 hapo. Kwa sasa hivi tuko karibu 56 I think. Tuko kama 56 safety officers. Lakini tunafaa kuipandisha kabisa mpaka karibu 100. Na hivyo tumeshaweka mikakati. Na mimi ile kazi hawa wameangalia wakasema bana Onyango, sisi tunataka wewe usimamie hii. Wameniambia wanataka mimi nisimamie ile capacity building ya safety officers, ndio tukifikia ile wakati tuweze kusimamia hii mchezo tukiwa tuko na nguvu ya kutosha. Na ile teknolojia ambayo tunahitaji pale sio nyingine, ni ile ya akili na kufuata utaratibu ya kitabu ambayo inaitwa rulebook ya IDPA.
Na hapa ndio lazima tushikane wote kama washikadau, maana sisi wote utalii, michezo, kama association walengaji shabaha, sisi wote ni lazima tushikane ili tuweke picha nzuri kwa taifa la Kenya duniani.
Na lazima mtahitaji mihela kutoka kwa wizara.
Mihela itahitajika. Maana kuna mipangilio mingi kwa sasa tuko katika harakati ya kuandaa ile range, ile shooting range ifike kiwango kinachohitajika cha kimataifa.
Ile ya Kirigiti?
Ya Kirigiti, Kiambu. Hapo ndio sasa tunataka tushikane wote,
na
serikali ndogo za county kama Kiambu ambapo mashindano yatafanyika, tungewaomba pia waje washirikiane na sisi. County, serikali ya county ya Nairobi pia. Hapa ndio the main hub transportation, watalii wote watashuka hapa.
Ndio kitovu.
Vihiga United is among 10 teams in Vihiga that received a total of 15 million shillings funding from the county government through the county's sports fund. Vihiga received 7 million shillings, while Women Premier League champions Vihiga Queens received 2 million shillings. The amount will boost their operations and other gaming activities. The teams were also urged to create sustainable measures by seeking additional financial support from potential sponsors because of delays of disbursement of funds by the national government. Among others that received funds are Vihiga Bullets, who got a $500,000, volleyball 1 million and boxing 300,000 shillings.
Volley the ball over, volley the ball over, volley the ball over.
Sasa ni garanti kwamba kila mwaka kwa kila budget yetu tutaweka pesa ya sports. Lingana ni vile tutapata pesa kutoka kwa national government, ndio hivyo tuta increase.
The county may not be having enough for us this season and even in future. So it's up to us as management to go out of our ways and ensure that we grow the fund from outside even the county by reaching out to more partners to come and chip in.
Ni ufadhili mkubwa sana, ni ufadhili mzuri kwa sababu wanalipwa mishahara na pia wanapewa ufadhili wa kwenda kucheza mechi.
Enyewe county government imetusupport sana. Kama wangekuwa hao, wengine wetu tungekuwa hapa. Saa ile kitu kidogo wanatupatia, tuna appreciate.
Arsenal's three-match Premier League winning run came to an end last night after being held to a goalless draw by Crystal Palace at the Emirates. The draw keeps Arsenal and Palace at positions 11 and 13 with 24 and 23 points respectively. Both sides had chance before half-time. In Saturday's fixtures, Fulham will play host to Chelsea at Craven Cottage, Leicester at home.
This is NTV.
DJ Mo.
Yes, Massive and Crew. Tune in every Saturday from 7 up until 10 p.m. on Nation FM 96.3 for reggae music. #JamDownKE.
Yes, man, we move the party straight to your TV screens. Ausio, kuanzia saa 4 mpaka saa 6. It's all about the best of roots, dancehall and lovers music from the Caribbean. Manze Jam Down, Noma Sana with my co-host Katua, Caribbean Queen. DJ Mo right here, rapping the most spice. Come boom.
For all your personal and business banking needs, SMS GROW to 0708 000 111. UAP Old Mutual. We've got you covered. Doing great things every day.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Antonina.
Thank you for making us.
Thank you for making us your favorite drive show crew. Nation FM, we love you. Wow! Thank you, people. This is the best I'm stitches. I got you good. You and jamaa mechizi yani.
Tunajibamba na show yenyu. Muendelee hivyo hivyo.
I came to rap it up, do my things,
Thank you for listening to 96.3 Nation FM.
Of course, Antona Obina.
And Obina.
Call them taking control.
Mad love, mad respect. One photo.
I run the city.
John Kamau has been through it all, from being evicted from his home to sleeping in the office and eventually becoming a tout. John now owns a fleet of buses.
In fact, wakati niliweza kupata ile gari ya kwanza, mimi mwenyewe nilipata kazi. Sababu nilienda nikaanza na nikakuwa conductor. Wengine huona makondakta si wa muhimu, but gari hili haliwezi songa bila conductor.
Indeed, anakiuka, which means going beyond and breaking barriers.
Nini tunafanya hapa sasa? Sasa nataka ujaze hii gari. Kiuka na watu, jaza beba watu.
So gari inaenda wapi?
Umoja inako.
Umoja inako. So sasa tunaenda Umoja inako 30 bob tu. Kazi iendelee, tukiuke nayo. Umoja inako 30 bob. Tukienda. So manze usiwahi give up. Zidi kukiuka na tuzidi na hustle.
Tuzidi na hustle in association with Safaricom.
Kevin Onyona, who owns the popular Swahili Village restaurants in the US, is back on daring abroad after visiting his home village.
The village is fresh, man.
How is he faring amid COVID-19?
We have learned how to adapt.
His views on the transition in the US.
Trump has not been a good president for America.
On Kenya to the World, leather exports by Rift Africa Leather. And on My Magical Kenya,
Kisumu Impala Sanctuary acts as a homage to wildlife.
This Saturday, 7:30 p.m. only on NTV.
Select a plot of value-added land within Garden of Joy gated community off Koma Kennel Road, Machakos. Now kuamue January na 21K with Optiven. Call us now on 0790 300 300.
How many ways can you enjoy your Jameson? Well, with the taste so smooth, every pour is perfect for chilling, chatting, and connecting, and taking time out to toast life's little pleasures. So grab a glass and make room for others, because good taste doesn't have a time or place. Why? Smooth taste. That's why. Don't drink and drive. Not for sale. Persons under the age of 18. Excessive consumption of alcohol is harmful to your health.
New year comes with new year deals. Renew your corporate subscription and get a bonus. Subscribe to Nation e-paper for 3 months and get 1 week absolutely free. 6 months and get 2 weeks absolutely free. 1 year and get 3 weeks absolutely free. To sign up, visit epaper.nationmedia.com or email subscription@ke.nationmedia.com. Offer valid till 28th February 2021.
They recognize that there is no wall that you can build that can keep the enemy away from you if God doesn't keep you safe. And that's a big lesson for us.